Here we are.
Here we are and all. So we're going to start it off by asking you guys what the hell we should do.
Because we have two equally interesting options.
Yes. Well, we think equally. Subtle background voice? Is it subtle? Is it background?
Is it us?
Is it me? I can up the gain. Are we a little quiet? Is that better?
I don't want to yell at anyone.
We don't want to be yelling at anybody yet.
Yet.
So if everybody clicks on the straw poll in the chat, that'll bring you through to a little thing asking you whether we should work on a monster or whether we should work on a subclass that we've been kind of thinking about a bit recently.
Back shopping in the backseat of a car. Workshopping in the backseat of a car. Back shopping in the workseat of a car.
Yeah, a little bit. The sound is good now? Excellent.
Excellent.
I bumped up the gain, so we're all good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lads, would you ever click the feckin' link? Here's a couple more of them now.
Keep going.
There's one.
More.
There's another. Even more. Just in case you didn't see it, you can click on that and then it'll bring you to a poll that will just let us know what on earth is going on. At all. Oh, two
Jesus.
votes in subclass immediately.
My God.
Good thing I have my notes ready already.
You do, yeah. The notes you had to write really big because it was really dark in the car.
It was very dark in the car on the way to the pub. Very good. Yeah. So if nobody else is going to be joining in on that poll, it's looking like the webpage won't open. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a Mikey.
Awesome said.
Let's give another straw poll so that we make sure everybody has a fair chance.
Let's give
if the webpage won't open.
Yeah, let's give that a shot ourselves and make sure that is working.
Yeah, should be working. Works.
It seems to be working for us.
Works for us. What device are you using? What browser are you using?
You could.
All these things could be affecting.
There's so many different pieces.
The pieces of the puzzle.
If you can't get the webpage open, you can just say what it is in your comment, and obviously that'll.
And then we can count
as a
that.
vote. It's like a postal vote.
Everyone's vote is worth quite a bit.
Yeah,
so
basically.
there's only 2 votes having it on 100%. So, and God,
Rigged. Yes.
freedom and God. You can't add your own comments, unfortunately. Your own options, because we dictate what you do. If subclass wins, can you make a link item using Ranger?
Do you mean a link as in the... You're watching from the mothership. How's the mothership doing?
What's the mothership?
That's my hoose.
Oh, your hoose.
We call it the mothership.
Very good. I love the Republic.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I understand. A link item as in definitely Legend of Zelda, because Leanne's probably playing... Yeah.
As in Zelda.
Yes, the very same.
That's
easy.
I don't know. Well, you could work something into it.
I do have a few schemes for link items already, so we could bring them in.
Yeah, we could incorporate that into the stream.
We could.
Yeah. But if we're going to be starting, let's see how the results are going.
Let's.
Oh
my God.
We have a vote for Monster.
All right. Tell you what, will we start with the subclass to jump into it?
I think starting with subclass. The voting poll will remain open just while it's there.
Absolutely.
So currently we have a little bit here put together, and Dan is more proficient than I with home brewery, so he's the man at the keys.
Okay, I'm gonna get my mitts on, but I've never used a Mac before, so this is the blind leading the blind.
Yep.
So the subclass we were talking about in the car is the Behir Soul Sorcerer. So I'm not sure where we got the initial idea from.
Well, it kind of came to me because I was trying to think of like what is something that is kind of monster based but also class based, and my immediate thought was the sorcerers who have their draconic ancestry. And from that I kind of like, what's the opposite of a dragon, or what really really hates dragons but has a really cool kind of presence in
at least distinct abilities
and is a monster that we've gone through on the Creature Club podcast already.
Nice.
Lightning riding, that could even come along in what we're doing. So the Behir is a lightning monster that fights dragons essentially.
Yeah, it lives normally in the Underdark. I think the lore suggests that once it was a dragon, and it kind of got kicked out of the dragon family. And that's why it doesn't like dragons anymore.
Because it's jealous. I might even be able to get a picture of it up in my copy of the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual.
Excellent.
Just to show it on stream so everybody knows what we're talking about. It's before Beholder.
Yeah, it is.
That's how the alphabet works.
Because of the alphabet.
Because of the alphabet.
Because of math and the alphabet.
So that's what it looks like. I wonder if I've got it. Oh shit! I've got it lined up.
Don't put the dog back.
We don't need more dogs.
Time yet.
No more dogs. There you go. That's the owl Behir. Mad looking snake dragon yoke.
Yes.
Beautiful though. I think they're really, really cool. They're one of my favorites.
Sort of elegant and interesting, certainly.
Yeah, we could even keep this open just to have as reference.
Totally.
Let's go to H. We're going to B, so obviously go halfway through the book.
Of course.
Yeah. Cool.
So, the features we have so far. So, just to catch everyone up. So, subclasses in the game all obey similar enough rules. What that means in this case is because we're making a sorcerer, we have a level 1 feature, a level 6 feature, a level 14 feature, and a level 18 feature.
Yes.
And almost, in fact, every sorcerer subclass that has been officially released so far has 2 level 1 features. The other thing to note about them, and this is just some stuff we were talking about before the stream, sorry, is that the level 1 features for the sorcerer are almost always either defensive, in that they increase the likelihood that the sorcerer will not die, or their utility, in that they let the sorcerer do more stuff. But almost none of them increase the attack power of the sorcerer directly. None of them just let them do more damage, or let them cast spells more often, or anything like that. All of them either give them movement speed or more HP. I mean, the Dragon Soul, as we mentioned already, gives you a HP bonus and sort of natural armor, effectively scales. So that's an example of how the sorcerer functions effectively.
Yes.
As a first level class. So we do have some first level features lined up.
Yeah, we have a couple little ideas that we were trying to workshop.
Yes.
Some of the ideas that we came up with were kind of the obvious ones, because it's based on the Behir, who's a lightning creature, who is immune to lightning.
Yes.
We thought we'd soften that for one of their little guys and just have it be resist lightning.
Yeah, exactly. Same as the Dragon Souls.
It also only speaks Draconic, so we were thinking letting them be able to speak Draconic just as a natural kind of thing at first level makes a lot of sense. Another one that we were kind of playing with was the climb speed. We think it makes sense because the Behirs have their many multiple legs. As somebody pointed out, we could have a multiple legs feature, which might be fun. You can swipe with 3 fingers to open the other page. Sweep.
Oh god, that's frightening stuff.
Frightening stuff.
What are you drinking? It's non-branded because we're not being sponsored. Root beer.
Root beer.
It's very good.
And
it's also diet, which is nice.
And water, because we like to hydrate here. We like to keep ourselves hydrated.
Keep yourself hydrated.
Non-brand water.
This water comes straight from the earth.
From the skies.
I think that's how taps work.
Yeah, one of the other features that we were thinking of adding, but we weren't quite sure would be something like too powerful, was something similar to one of the Xanthar's Guide ones, where they were allowed to have essentially a disengage react or something. I would think that was from the Shadow.
Storm Sorcerer, the Storm Sorcery or Storm Soul, has a feature called, I think it's called Tempestuous Outburst or something similar.
My goodness.
And effectively it's very strangely worded, because it says before or after you cast a first level or higher spell, you can move 10 feet without provoking an attack of opportunity. So what's weird about it is that it's kind of got that Shield Master style thing where it says before you cast a spell. So obviously you have to sort of say, I'm going to cast a spell now, but then you can move first.
Before or after.
Before or after. So for the Behir, what we were thinking instead was kind of a similar feature,
but
more limited in some ways.
Yes.
So firstly, let's nail down the stuff we're very comfortable with. So
okay.
Let's go ahead. I'm gonna literally type these as cliff notes, and so I apologize if my formatting is slightly incorrect. Let's just go bullet points. I don't know how to do bullet points. I feel so lost on a Mac, honestly.
Jesus.
Resistance to
I've really thrown you in the deep end.
Lightning damage.
damage.
And let's go ahead and add coma, speak,
draconic,
read, and write. Draconic. We could just say speak, but normally you get all of them, so let's give it all of them because it's once you can speak it and read it, those are the important bits. Writing it is kind of just for
effectual.
Fun. Yeah, exactly. And of course, you gain Eugene. Eugene.
We got Jin on the brain.
Climb, speed, You gain climb speed equal to your walking speed, let's say. Because if you want to spend resources to become faster, that's fine, I think. Yeah. I don't think we're particularly concerned about the Sorcerer becoming a speed master.
No. I mean, having them be able to get out of the way, I think, is like a feature that a lot of other classes that are the kind of glass cannons, the like soft boys, tend to avoid quite a bit.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, totally.
That's
fine.
perfect. Oh yeah, that's much better. Yeah, apologies to all of you people with poor vision. I understand your pain.
Also, it is maybe not the highest quality stream since I'm not an affiliate yet, but you know, give me those follows and I'll be allowed to stream in HD.
In HD?
In HD.
I didn't know you could stream in HD.
In the H'est of Ds.
Wow. Okay, so we can say, oh, that's cool. Yep. Resistance to lightning damage, speak, read, and write draconic. You gain a climb speed equal to your walk speed. I think that's... Did you guys notice that? Yeah? The podcast?
The podcast.
The podcast.
Yep.
We didn't fix it.
We noticed it and we decided it was best to keep it that way.
It's better that way.
It is excellent.
It's technically not a podcast as well. Legally, we're actually protected.
Any money in this? Daniel, is there any money in this?
Any money in it, lads? No, none at all. No, we were literally losing money.
We are doing a bit of video and you know yourself. Yeah. Unusual for this podcast, but we figured since we were both in the same place for once in our gosh darn lives, we might as well.
There's normally a continent in the way. Let's find out if I've gone down enough times because I can't see where I'm typing anymore.
Oh no, that's gonna upset things.
That's gonna upset things.
So what I can probably do, I'm going to...
Oh, actually, do you want to put the "we'll be right back" while we're fixing this?
Sure. So we're gonna... Oh no, what have I done?
Technical gremlins, lads.
Technical gremlins.
You're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Amazing.
Amazing. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. That was our little...
That's our Be Right Back screen.
Our Be Right Back screen.
I'm so happy with it.
We're extremely proud of our little Be Right Back screen. But we've got it set up again now.
Just a few technical gremlins.
Just a few technical gremlins, as you're all used to dealing with.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so
yes, we have our climb speed equal to walking speed, which is, you know, not it's an improvement on like a classic climb speed, but it also allows you to attack and be quite dexterous while you are moving up walls and stuff.
Yeah, of course. The main thing to remember is that giving something a climb speed doesn't allow them to supernaturally climb.
Yes.
There's features that do that separately. So if, for example, we give the Sorcerer a climb speed, they still need to be able to physically climb the object that they are climbing.
Yes.
So they need handholds and footholds, things like that. If we wanted to avoid that, we could give them the spider climb feature, but the Behir in the Monster Manual doesn't have that feature.
Yes.
So there's no reason to give it to the Sorcerer. I think we're very happy just saying you get climb speed.
Yeah.
The Behir is also technically slower while climbing, but I don't think we need to worry about that because the speed of the Behir is higher than players normally anyway.
There's another suggestion. Since they're cavern dwellers, you should give them dark vision because everyone has it.
Yes, that's correct. Actually, I think that is something we mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on that list.
They do have dark vision.
But they do have dark vision, so that's absolutely true. So let's go ahead and throw that into this first feature because our first feature sort of seems to have all our
it's kind of
all our passive features effectively.
Yeah, the Behir flavored passive abilities.
Dark vision. What's the dark vision on the Behir? 120, I assume?
90 feet.
Oh, 90 feet.
Yeah, so it's slightly better.
That's interesting. Well, let's go 90 feet then, because that's not as good as 120, which dwarves get natively. But it is better than the 60 that everyone gets by default. So it's an improvement even if you have dark vision.
Yeah.
Unless you're a dwarf. Now, you could also make it so that you get 30 feet of dark vision unless you have dark vision, in which case you increase it by 30 feet. But then that would mean that like human characters, for example, would have a much weaker dark vision.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with 90 feet as it is.
I'm happy leaving that as like a standard for it, because once you're like adding feet to whatever you have, that starts to like make some more powerful. And I think the idea behind this would be to make it like a bit more kind of glossing over towards the like making them Behir like.
Yeah.
Kind of losing part of their kind of their racial traits for this Behir trait. So like if you have
I understand.
an elf,
Yeah.
that
like, makes a lot of sense. So it's overwriting.
Yes.
Rather than enhancing. That makes sense. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's all our passive features in kind of one block. Why don't we call this feature I want to say maybe like Dragon's Bane something, or or it could just be Behir Ancestry. It could be very straightforward.
Yeah, Behir Ancestry would make sense.
Let's start with that. We'll save our cool names for later.
Our cool names.
Okay, great. So this other feature then, so something we were talking about, the AC of the Behir is their Dex plus their Con. That's a great question. I think it's just called Natural Armor.
Yep.
It could technically be mathematically their Dex plus their Con. There's nothing stopping that, which would make them kind of a barbarian.
Yeah. But I think that because of this, it's like with the kind of dragon skin thing that they had with the mage armor.
Yeah.
With dragons, that kind of lends itself to that, because I think dragons, because they are scaly and they're kind of armored as they are, like that's what they were leaning into. Whereas the Behir is a bit more sleek. You know, like their dexterity is pretty high. Like at a 16 for a +3 is pretty impressive. Whereas their kind of slightly tougher hide doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. Like I think flavorfully, I'd probably make the character like a kind of cerulean shade, or like a kind of a blue green.
Okay.
Yeah, just as like an affectation, or like a visual thing that happens. Like if we were to go back and write all of this, we'd give like a description of what being a sorcerer of the Behir is, and I think that's probably the best way to work the AC. Otherwise, they're probably going to use like a mage armor or something. Like we don't want to give that as a passive feature, because that's basically just copying the draconic ancestry.
It is. If we want it to be different, but as suggested that it might be Dex plus Con, you could say that the feature is that you can replace your Dex mod with your Con mod when calculating armor.
Okay.
But
that's very barbarian.
But also it's not necessarily something the sorcerer wants to do most of the time.
No.
If we were going to do that, we'd want to start using Constitution and other features as well to make it more relevant. We'd basically be saying, this is a subclass where you want Con as a tertiary stat.
Yeah.
And sorcerers already need charisma for spellcasting, dexterity for not dying. So having a third stat's not a huge deal.
Yeah, but it would become like so kind of distantly tertiary. Like
yes,
if
exactly,
you're using classically, I would go for an array. So if you're 15, 14, 13 is your next step down, which is only the +1, which is close to a +2.
Yeah.
So if you have like a dwarf who gets the I think is it +2 to Con?
They get +2 Con, I believe. Yeah.
Then you'd bump yourself up, and it might be handy. But if you're playing most other races, maybe because they're kind of underground, it is more flavorful for dwarves and maybe gnomes who aren't particularly constitutive. But yeah, I don't think it's kind of broad enough. Like
I will also say that while the Behir has good natural armor, I believe its natural armor is lower than the dragons, and I think the dragons kind of start around. I mean, obviously there's the younglings,
and the wormlings.
But I'm thinking like the adult dragons, I think have like minimum kind of 19, I believe.
Yeah, like the young white dragon starts at a 17
Yeah, so
which
that's
is
comparable.
what the Behir is.
And the
the
Behir
ancients are up to 20.
Yes, yeah, and I believe that some of them are even like
21,
above 20. Yeah, exactly, 21.
22. I think like basically the like golden dragons and the silver dragons, like the more fancy your dragon gets, or the more notorious the dragons get, the kind of higher AC that they have. Whereas the Behir is just kind of a single stat block. Maybe in the future, if we decide to just do like a one-off, we might even give the Behir like a dragon stat line, where we have a Behir wormling.
Oh, like a
young
Behir.
Behir.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Just to kind of expand it out. They only did that with dragons, I presume, because Dungeons and Dragons
are
pretty
and I think
relevant.
it's a big part of the history. So I suppose the other thing about Dungeons and Dragons, especially 5th edition, is that 5th edition is all of the old editions, especially 1st and 2nd. And even in 1st and 2nd, there was sort of the implication that dragons began small and sort of weaker and became sort of strong, became ancient creatures who were like almost gods.
Yeah, they're kind of epic beasts.
Exactly. So I think in some ways it felt appropriate to keep that sort of theme in the game.
Actually, even the wormlings have a natural armor of 17 or 16 probably.
Okay, so let's put that aside for now. So the other feature, so I think we're happy with resistance to lightning damage, based on the immunity the Behir has. Speak, Read, and Write Draconic, which is exactly what the Behir can do.
Yes.
Climb speed equal to your walking speed. You're technically a little better than the Behir because the Behir has a 50-foot normal speed and a 40-foot climb, but the Behir is also sort of generally faster than players.
Yes.
And I think if we said you gain a climb speed equal to your walking speed minus 10, then it would be by default only 5 feet faster than everyone has a default climb speed of half their walking speed.
Yeah.
So that doesn't feel good as a feature, as a whole feature. So I think instead we can say you can maybe give them ability based on strength. That actually,
it might be a cool idea for one of the higher level features.
Yeah, or even go the other way and say you can grapple based on your charisma. That could be interesting.
Ooh.
If you can sort of do like a sort of
mentally grappling with your enemies.
Well, it's almost like you're kind of invoking your Behiric aspect to grapple someone, sort of calling upon your ancestry.
Or wisdom, because the Behir's wisdom is pretty high, and that would kind of, I think making it a feature would be like calling on your Behiric ancestry to like empower you in some way, because their charisma isn't particularly high, but if you were to like channel wisdom, it would be almost a kind of a magic kind of feel.
But then you're relying on
the
third stat again.
Yeah.
So in that case, you may as well use strength, because then that strength is. I agree. I also want we're definitely doing a ride lightning bolt ability, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I already have a name for it, so it's fine. Ooh. We're definitely doing it. So let's do the second level 1 feature. I think a really good second level 1 feature would be either the one we discussed last night in the car, which will effectively be kind of a lightning step feature, which will kind of be a setup for our lightning flight later on.
Yeah.
So the feature would be to put it in sort of rules terms. It would be, I'll try and write it up now. Let's see if I can do this and explain it. After you cast a spell of no, it's the wrong symbol
of apostrophe
of first level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage.
Thunder makes sense.
Obviously the
kind of hand in
the Behir
hand.
doesn't have any native abilities to use thunder. I just think this is a way to expand the power, make it more relevant, and lightning and thunder are kind of thematically linked, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, that's absolutely fair, Mikey. Yeah, that's like, you can fire us if we don't do that.
Yeah.
It was going to be called something else, but it'll be that now.
Yeah.
So after you cast a spell of first level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage, you, or should we say a friendly creature within reach? Because that's kind of. I think reach is clean. That's the reason I like using it.
Because otherwise you're just able to do a disengage. And I think that the Behir's like their kind of slinky ability, you should be able to kind of, like, their abilities you should be able to like put through yourself. It's not like you are manifesting their powers, you are kind of controlling the ancestry, because otherwise you're not a sorcerer of Behirs, you just have a Behir ancestry and you're not trying to like focus it.
Okay.
Like, if somebody is a sorcerer of the Behir soul, then they have some control over it. So if they can imbue that power to their friends and just like bounce them away with a bit of lightning, then I think that's more impressive, and I think more just cool. It's just cool. Just rule of cool it.
After you cast a spell or a friendly creature within reach, I think we can agree that's all good. What's a good way to word this? So it should be... so as a bonus action, you... This is badly worded already. I'd like to go back and clean this up later.
You or that.
You or that creature may move up to half your speed without provoking attacks of opportunity.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would have thought make it the 10 feet like disengage, but if we're going to distance ourselves from the disengage, that makes even more sense.
Well, because remember, all disengage does is disengage says you don't provoke attacks of opportunity when you move, but it doesn't give you any movement.
Oh, I thought it was you could only disengage 10 feet.
No, the thunderous outburst is after you cast a spell, you move 10 feet, it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity.
Oh.
A disengage is an action you take that means all your movement doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity.
Really?
Yes.
Goodness. Well then, why don't people always disengage?
Because it's an action. Huh. Because it's an action. You want to do something cool, like punch a dude or shoot him with lightning or something.
Fair.
It's people, like, you only get one turn and you have to wait for everyone else. Like, you don't want to waste it just leaving.
Away.
Yeah, basically.
Are we spending sorcery points on this?
No, because remember, you're a first level sorcerer, you don't have sorcerer points yet. Correct. This is actually something we thought about. We were thinking the feature might be to do with absorbing lightning damage and turning that into a sorcery point. But we can't do that yet because you don't get Font of Magic, which is the feature that gives you sorcery points, until second level.
Yes.
So if we reference them, I don't even know what the game thinks of that, if the game just gives out. Because like you technically, like, you will have sorcery points. But you don't have them yet, so the feature doesn't do anything until you level up, which is super feels bad.
Feels bad, man.
You could give it like two components where it does something, and then when you reach level 2, it unlocks the sorcery point feature. Yes. We could, for example, say that this feature can also be used by spending a sorcery point. You could say that at second level, as a bonus action, you can spend a sorcery point to generate the same effect.
Right.
So in other words, you could, instead of having to cast a whole spell, you could just spend one sorcery point.
Yes.
Which would also free you up to say, I'm going to cast a different spell that doesn't deal lightning or thunder damage, but also I'm going to help my friend leave.
Yeah. Get him on out of here.
So, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, we could make it... no. The way it is, I was going to suggest that maybe you could cast it, because Shocking Grasp is... No, it would have to be first level or hard. So
yeah,
if you cast it on an enemy, you could just bump them away in a direction.
Oh, actually, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting idea.
But I was thinking that's because it has to be a willing creature for it to go, or they probably have to make a save, which makes it more aggressive. Because we want our, as we said earlier, we want our level 1 features to be kind of defensive or utilitarian.
Yes, although I do actually think the idea that you can later on use that feature to, when you hit an enemy with lightning or thunder damage, you can spend sorcery points and force them to move. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that's also very rules dense. We'd have to spend a lot of words explaining it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. No. But it is just something we have to think about.
Yeah.
So for now, we say after you cast a spell of first level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage. So it's a subset of the spells. You're level 1, so you have 2 spells per day, if I recall correctly, and you have no sorcery points, so you've got 2 spells per day, so twice per day.
I don't have my PHB to hand.
You or a friendly creature within reach can, this is the weird part, because it's like it's your bonus action, but they move, so that needs to be reworded slightly. But I think the intention is at least clear to us for now.
Yeah.
So it's effectively a short range hop. It avoids attacks opportunity. It's very useful for the sorcerer because it means they aren't going to be slapped. It's great for the sorcerer's friends because it means they won't get slapped, or they can use it to run into battle, which is obviously great. And it lets the sorcerer do something with their bonus action, and that's great because spellcasters don't get to use bonus actions very often.
No, not at all.
And this is a feature that they get for quote unquote free as part of casting a spell,
as part of being alive,
as part of being this sorcerer. So
that's good. I like it.
What's the feedback from chat?
Tim is learning 5th edition in real time.
He is. I'm so proud. Finally. Took a while.
I'll learn eventually. Someday I'll learn all of it, just like all of everyone else watching.
Exactly.
You probably have to make an ally consumer reaction.
You could do
I mean, it's kind of, but it's not forced movement then.
Well, that's true. It makes sense that because it's very rare that it doesn't cost a reaction to have someone else do something
out of turn.
So then the question is it good enough that they would use a reaction? Now it is a half speed free disengage, which can be very useful.
Yeah, especially in the back line where the sorcerer is most likely to be.
Yes, yeah. Or equally, if, for example, the sorcerer is maybe like next to a frontliner and the frontliner's out of position, being able to move, you wouldn't be able to use your reaction anyway because you're not in position to attack of opportunity.
Okay.
So it wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah.
But you're probably correct. Let's see if we can return and reword this. After you cast a spell of you... let's see.
Creature may use its reaction to move up to half of its speed without provoking attacks.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because the other creature will have to use their reaction, but you have to use your bonus action. So how do you word it so that they have to use their... That's interesting. Unless you have to use your reaction as well. But that doesn't make sense,
because you're using a reaction on your turn.
Well, no, that's fine. But you'd have to say that... You either have to say that the creature spends its reaction to benefit, which means you have to spend your reaction. Or alternatively, you say, if you use it on another friendly creature, they must spend their reaction to gain benefit. Which you can say, and that's allowed per the rules of the game.
Yeah, just kind of having it cost a little more to help your friends out kind of makes sense. Like if you use it on yourself,
but also,
then
it's also correct to say that in general, benefiting from something that's when it's not your turn is a reaction, unless... So if I, for example, if I get an ally to move, then they should normally spend their reaction to that. Like, for example, the Glamour Bard, their alternate use of Bardic Inspiration is that everyone within an aura gets some temporary hit points, which everyone gets, and they can also move their speed without provoking attacks of opportunity. But if they want to move, they have to spend their reaction.
Oh.
So you always get some part of it, but if you want the other part of it, you have to... And equally... the Mystic, who I've been playing recently, the Mystic has a feature that lets you spend some resources and get loads of people around you to move. Yeah. But everyone who wants to move again must spend their reaction.
Okay.
So there's kind of a consistent agreement in the rules that if you want to get someone to move when it's not their turn, it costs their reaction.
So it sounds like that's kind of an accepted form of making
payment.
Other movements
yes, exactly.
Since the Player's Handbook has come out. Because my primary source of information has been the Player's Handbook, and I haven't been really deep into Xanthars or much of the UA since then.
No, I mean, like, I wouldn't have thought of it without... here we go, yeah. So it can immediately use its reaction to move up to its speed without provoking attack opportunity. So yes, that's interesting, because Mantle of Inspiration... I don't know if Mantle of Inspiration... Does it work on the Bard as well? Because... And do they have to spend their reaction to it? I guess it makes sense they'd have to, because they're also benefiting from movement.
Yeah.
But you're sort of spending your bonus action to get the movement. So, yeah, so you probably have to say... you probably have to basically say if you're not using it, another friendly creature must spend its reaction to benefit. Is the short version.
Yeah.
I'm going to just shorthand that because I am deeply lazy. But that is correct. Let's just say for now a
frighteningly.
I'm doing my best. A friendly creature must spend its reaction to gain its benefit.
Yeah.
Not necessarily best way to word this, but I think we can come back and tidy it up.
Yeah, and then we'll probably make this available as a PDF.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Once we tidy it up and add a bit of flavour explaining what it means to be a Behir Soul Sorcerer, because I think that's... Maybe even do a quirk table. I love those tables.
Ooh.
They're lots of fun. One of my favourite homebrews I ever saw was a guy who made a Viking subclass for the fighter, and I just really liked it because he made like a D12 Viking quirk table. And it was pretty fun. Other than that, like it was very cool. But like I just loved the D12 quirk table. I love D12s. I love quirk tables. So just won me over.
Creature that see them get the benefit. So technically, yes, you could inspire yourself.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you can inspire yourself, spend your own reaction, but then you are also gaining another benefit.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't get any benefit by spending your bonus action. If you also have to spend your reaction, you basically have to spend both to just do one thing. Although maybe depending on how valuable it is, that's actually worth it. But we can come back to it.
Yeah.
Okay, level 6. Level 6 features are generally ones that do make you good at the things you're already good at, I think. I'm gonna. Do you have your Player's Handbook in your bag?
I don't. Shall we go to a BRB?
Yeah, go on. I do love that screen.
All right, so we're gonna be right back. in maybe a couple minutes, but we won't leave you
not too long
with nothing. We'll leave you with our delightful Be Right Back screen. Here it is. Enjoy. We will be right back. Ready for more, lads?
How are you getting on?
How you getting on? How you getting on?
How you getting on?
Looking forward to seeing the Sorcerer Bloodline. I love the flavor of Sorcerer. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sorcerers as well. Mostly because I love dragons. They're kind of my thing.
They are. It's true.
Although, point of contention with myself, there's not many within my setting that I have. But anyway, yeah, that's beside the point.
Okay, so right before we left, we were talking about our 6th level feature, which is the feature we want to work on now.
Yes.
So the theme of 6th level features for the Sorcerer appears to be that you get better at what you're already kind of wanting to do. That was badly worded. I'm very sorry. So what tends to happen is whatever features you already sort of expect from your class, those get reinforced. So.
Right.
The Draconic Bloodline, I believe, gets the ability to do more elemental damage.
Yes,
based on their dragon ancestry.
Yeah, Draconic ancestry is elemental affinity, which means they can add their charisma modifier to damage
of that type.
Okay. But they can also, it says here, at the same time, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage for 1 hour.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's unusual.
So it's basically whenever you cast sort of a elemental theme power, you get both a offensive and defensive buff. Okay, interesting. Yeah. There's the other one, which is the Divine Soul. I know has empowered healing, which lets you, I think, spend sorcery points to reroll dice when you heal people. I know the weird one is the Shadow Sorcerer has the dog.
Yeah.
The Hound of Ill Omen, where they summon a dog and the dog does like a load of stuff. So we're not going to do
something as complex as
that. And probably not.
And the Wild Magic guy has.
Oh, right.
He basically uses a bardic inspiration to let you. He can either add or subtract a d4 from any roll.
Is it from an ally or just himself, or
another creature?
Oh, so even enemies.
You can see.
Okay, yeah.
So attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. So it's basically whenever anyone makes a roll.
So it's very much.
It's almost like guidance or bane, kind of rolled into one.
I get you. Yeah, sort of like a. Okay, cool. So that's all, and that kind of fits their thing of like. They have the Wild Magic table, and it's all about like manipulating their chances on the Wild Magic table and getting more chances to roll on the Wild Magic table.
Can you pet the dog?
This is the wrong Twitch stream for that. I'm so sorry. I can't help you with that.
We have a cat nearby, but no dogs, unfortunately. But yeah, we definitely need more Sorcerer Bloodlines which is why we're doing this or something like this. I mean, it kind of came to me randomly when we were thinking about subclasses that we could come up with. But yeah, I like the flavor and the coolness of sorcerers.
I agree, yeah.
I could go on about them. But anyway, yeah. So, this 6th level feature.
Yes.
Do we want to name the first level feature?
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I forgot to name it. What do we want to call this? All right, so...
Spark Step or...
Spark Step's actually quite cool.
I'm a madman for alliteration, so...
let's go with Spark Step. Or... What about like I'm thinking like something about like maybe like something to do with the fact that you maybe like Sidewinder Burst or something like that, or let's go with Spark Step. I like that for now, but I'm thinking
Spark Sidestep.
Spark Sidestep. It's too much
SSS?
No.
Silly Spark Sidestep.
Yeah, stop.
Special silly Spark Sidestep.
I don't like it.
Electric Shuffle. Excellent.
That's actually.
Oh no.
That's actually really good.
It might have to be that.
I love Electric Shuffle. That's so fucking good.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be.
All right, nice.
Oh no.
I'm so glad. This is what it's about, man. It's about the teamwork.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, cool. So that's so we've named that now. Excellent.
Excellent.
Okay.
So level 6 feature, something to improve on what we have already.
Yes. So what are we good at so far? We're good at not taking lightning damage. We're good at talking to dragons. Actually, we're not good at talking to dragons, but we can talk to dragons because we don't have the draconic feature. Because one of the other features of the dragon bloodline is you get advantage to persuade dragons, which is sort of thematic, but I don't think we need anything about that.
Yeah. Is it not just all charisma checks versus them?
It might be all charisma checks versus dragons. You're probably right.
Give it a wee look.
But it's a little bit of flavor.
Yeah.
So the level 6 feature, so we're good at moving, we're good at climbing, we're good at seeing in the dark, we're good at talking to dragons, and we're good at not getting hurt by lightning. Which it's all great things. I mean, if you could do that in real life, that'd be great. So what I'm thinking maybe is like if we're
charisma checks, and you get to add your proficiency bonus, and it's doubled if you already have a proficiency in that. So you get expertise in it if you're already proficient.
Blimey.
Sorry, I cut across you.
No, absolutely. That was actually I didn't know it was expertise in dragon charming.
Essentially.
That's pretty cool. So what I'm thinking maybe level 6 is where we get to ride the lightning.
Okay.
We could give it later on, but I don't always like saving the coolest feature for the end because games just don't go that long. Like the other two features are 14 and 18. 14 maybe, 18 is a pipe dream.
Yeah, for most people.
So like if at level 6 we give you some kind of lightning rider feature,
yes,
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and we're reinforcing the theme that you're mobile, that you like to cast lightning and thunder spells, that you don't get hurt by lightning. All that stuff is sort of there. So
maybe you've made it clear to your friends that this is something that you can do. So maybe you can even do it to your friends as well. Like you can like do a heavy metal sign into the ground, like you have your positive and negative, and then,
I get you.
You cast your lightning spell, and then something is hit by the lightning, but also you have a second spark going like up to like 40 or 60 feet away.
Okay, yeah.
That like you can essentially teleport to, as opposed to the electric shuffle, which is the lower level one, is kind of a forced movement, or like a voluntary movement almost.
Yeah.
This would be like like you either travel through the current in a kind of teleporting magical kind of way.
Yeah, could do that.
Or like you're just chucked over there.
So there's a lot of interesting things we can do. There's a lot of interesting space to explore.
Yes.
What I really like the idea, spend sorcery points to extend your body to allow you to constrict, advantage on grapple, no penalty for squeezing, and 10-inch reach on weapon attacks.
10-inch?
10-inch.
10-inch reach.
It just says 10 reach.
Just says 10 reach.
10 reach. 10 reach.
How far can you reach? 10. 10 what? Reach.
Yeah. I can. 10-inch reach would be terrible.
Yeah.
It'd be much worse than regular reach. So you basically get like a Behiric transformation is what that is. It's
that
effectively
sounds like that.
You turn into a snake.
A snake bite. I mean, yeah, that would definitely be more thematic towards the like making the Behiric kind of influence on your body.
10 squares.
10 squares. Yeah.
The battlefield is mine.
Mine. That's a solid 50 feet.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, I think that would be more along the lines of like you are becoming more Behiric as opposed to like engaging with your already Behiric powers inside you. Almost serpentine.
So
this lad's the Viper.
We call him the Viper.
But yeah,
so
if we are going with the kind of consistency of what the PHB is giving us, I think doing what we were kind of going the direction of is more along those lines. And maybe one of the higher level features could be something like that. Maybe a little chunkier and kind of beefier or like stronger. Maybe 10 squares, the 50 foot. It could be a bounce or a boon towards something like that. But I think that the kind of dexterity and movement basis of what we have already is a solid like starting point for what we got.
Yeah, so the other thing I will say is that the idea of a Behiric transformation excuse me, I think that suits a 14th level feature well. A lot of 14th level features are to do with gaining new things.
Like the Draconic Bloodline gets the wings.
Gets wings. The Divine Soul Sorcerer also gets wings.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're called otherworldly wings, but I think it's wings. I think it's still wings. I don't know what the distinction is, but I believe they both get a flying speed, like a native flying speed, effectively. And then I believe, actually, I have no idea what the others do. I don't know, you can check what magic does, but like
wild magic at 14th level, controlled chaos. At 14th level, you gain a modicum of control over the surges of your wild magic.
It's just whenever you roll on a wild magic table, you roll twice and pick one, right?
Sure, yeah,
it's fine.
Choose either number, that's fine.
You don't get to roll that much, so it doesn't matter.
You don't get wings.
You don't even get wings. But yes, so 14. But yes, between the wings on the Dragon Soul and the wings on the Divine Soul, 14th sort of has a like a transformative element to it.
Yeah.
So perhaps we do that then, or we do it now. But those are both good ideas.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking for the level 6 feature is, when you cast a spell that deals lightning or thunder damage, you can.
So you're removing the level limit on it. So if you cast Shocking Grasp,
right, yeah, very true. Yeah. So maybe it's important that we say first level or higher as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is basically. Tell you what, I'll just try to write it out.
Start writing. Just get words down on paper.
Man, absolutely. After you cast or should it be during the casting? Let's say when you cast.
When you cast. So
it's not after.
On your casting.
Yeah. When you cast a spell, a sepple.
I'm
doing my best.
I believe.
Oh. So condescending. I know it wasn't meant to be, but it's very funny. First level or higher, that deals lightning or thunder damage. I think we keep that team. We could specify just lightning, because lightning and thunder is what the Storm Soul gets.
Okay.
They talk about lightning and thunder, so we could sort of narrow to just lightning. There's a lot of good spells that do lightning damage, but it is also limited by definition. We could also talk about spells that restrict movement, but that's kind of a weird. That's not a thing you can say in the language of 5th edition. It's not necessarily always clear. So let's say.
I think rolling with lightning and thunder for now.
Let's say lightning or thunder for now, and maybe we peel it back to just lightning.
Yeah, it's a little bit in line with what the Storm guy does, but I think that's fine. You know.
So when you cast a spell of first level or higher that deals
lightning or thunder damage.
The lightning or thunder damage.
Higher that lightning or thunder that deals lightning or thunder damage. Okay.
Maybe you can boost your lightning damage when you're grappling. That's really cool.
Ooh,
that's really cool.
It's
almost like a static shot, like you're building off someone else, and then that's cool. I like that.
You're just rubbing up against them.
I'm gonna get you. You wait.
I've been dragging these shoes all day. You
got these big rubber boots.
Yeah, your hair is just gradually standing more and more.
Lads, no one touch me, I'll fucking die.
I'll explode.
Oh my god. That would be so funny.
Yeah. Oh boy. He has to wear a rubber suit when he's out of battle.
Yeah.
Otherwise he builds up too much static.
And then open up one portion of it too. That would be really cool as part of the transformation. If it made you good, so you transform into a big Behir, you're better at grappling, you're big, you're nasty, and when you grapple people, you start dealing more lightning damage. That's really cool.
I like it.
Okay, cool. So let's keep that in mind. So when you cast a spell of first level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage, you may spend a sorcery point.
You're at the wrong place.
You may spend. I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You may spend one sorcerer.
I wonder what do the other ones let you do. Is it one? I think the rest of them are usually 2 for 6th level.
Oh
no, it's 1 or 2.
So what I'm thinking is 1, but there'll be the chance to spend more. So hang on. You may spend 1 sorcery point to. How do you word this? This is a funny one. So I actually know a spell that does something similar, so I'm going to look that up and use it as a comparison. Because what I want to do is have it that you can teleport to another part of the area of the spell.
Oh, so in other words, if you cast
a lightning bolt, you can teleport to the other end of it.
Point
exactly.
On that line. Okay.
So that's what I want to do. And what I'm then thinking is that you can spend more sorcery points to basically snatch allies and let them do it too, which I think is very cool.
Maybe you can. This might be broadening it too much, but maybe you can grab people on the path of the lightning bolt and force them to the end of it.
That's
a lot of force movement.
That's really potentially very devastating.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
And it kind of because it takes. You'd already be spending a sorcery point to make sure it's not hurting your friends. So you're adding the 1 sorcery point to do that ability, which I can't remember what it's called. It's Twin spell? No, careful spell. So you're already casting for careful spell. So if you're shooting lightning through your friends, if you don't spend that point, you're going to be dealing the damage to them. But like, you're going to be spending quite a few sorcery points if you're doing something like that. So maybe that's kind of moot. But we're just spitballing here, you know.
Yeah. You may spend one sorcery point to teleport to an unoccupied. Is that correct? Yeah.
You may teleport, so it's not going to be you or your friend.
Well, it's going to be friends with them. I'm going to say that separately because it's actually easier to say it separately.
Right.
You may spend one sorcery point to teleport to an unoccupied space. Probably affected by the spell.
Okay.
Is the clearest language.
Or maybe within 5 foot of the area of the spell.
Affected by the spell or adjacent to a target.
Okay.
Because if we're using a targeted spell that just hits one person, we still want to be able to teleport to them.
Yeah.
To an occupied space affected by the spell. Or we could say adjacent to the region affected by the spell, adjacent to the area. We could say teleport to an unoccupied space adjacent to the area affected by the spell.
Yeah.
Which would also work for if you hit a creature. By definition, you can teleport next to them.
Yeah.
Because they're in the area affected by the spell. They are the area.
Yeah.
Adjacent. I'm doing my best. Do not teleport to an unoccupied space adjacent to the area affected by the spell.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll leave that. We could say or adjacent to a target, but let's cut that just for the sake of having less words.
Or adjacent to a target. Yeah.
Let's just get rid of that for now. See what that's like. Okay, so that's the basic thing is that when you cast a spell that deals lightning. So when you cast now, the only thing that gets weird is when you do stuff like call lightning. That technically lets you do loads of weird teleporting, but also that's very cool.
And chain lightning is also a cool one.
Yeah,
that could be potentially crazy.
It could be, but you can still only teleport when you cast the spell.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So for example, call lightning creates lightning for an extended period, but it doesn't necessarily matter because it's only when you cast the spell you get the opportunity to spend a sorcery point.
Right.
So it doesn't matter that there's going to be multiple lightning strikes because you can't do it again.
Yeah.
Which is probably for the best. For the purposes of not both overcomplicating the ability and also potentially making it more
like overpowered.
Yeah. Now when
does call lightning come in?
I think it's a 3rd level spell.
3rd? Lightning bolt is definitely 3rd level. I'm not sure about.
Maybe call lightning is 2nd, but I thought it was 3rd. But you can check for me there.
I thought it was slightly higher because it kind of makes a. But you might be right. Call lightning 3rd level. Oh, okay.
There you go.
And then.
Okay, so affected by the spell. So let's say you may spend one additional sorcery.
Both are level 3.
Yeah,
lightning
they are.
Bolt and call lightning.
But call lightning
that is mostly druid.
Yeah, and also it's more damage over time, whereas lightning bolt is lots of damage all at once.
Yeah.
There's one additional sorcery point for each ally within 30 feet. Just picking a number here.
30 feet is quite a distance. I maybe shorten it.
30 feet is not that much of a distance when you remember that the sorcerer wants to stand back and everyone else wants to go forward.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you have to be up in the, because if you're within 30 feet of an ally, that means whatever's fighting the ally is almost within 30 feet of you, which is bad news for a sorcerer. But maybe let's say 30 feet for now, and we can come back to it.
Maybe spend an additional 2 sorcery points because that's really, really powerful. I think you're basically getting like 30 squares. You're getting a
okay, yeah, sure. So let's say 30 feet, but 2 sorcery points for each ally.
Yeah.
So it's cheap for you to jump. It's more expensive to bring a friend.
Yeah.
Just like real life.
You're at 6th level. How many sorcery points do you have?
6. It's your it's always your level,
6.
isn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Learning
D&D.
There you go. 30 squares. Thank you, Steve. Very good. Spend 2 additional sorcery points for each ally within 60 feet to allow them to also teleport, or to
we just leave it like that for now.
You may spend
to benefit from this ability.
For each ally within 30 feet to allow them to spend their reaction to teleport Teleopret. To teleport. Let's see. Is it to teleport in the same manner?
Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Great.
It's clear to me.
You may spend 2 additional sorcery points for each ally within 30 feet to
allow them to spend their reaction to teleport in the same manner.
To allow them to spend their reaction to teleport in the same manner. Now, the only thing is, you may spend 2 additional sorcery points for each ally.
Yes.
You
on
may
6th level, that's
for each ally. Yeah. So you don't have to take all nearby allies.
No.
You can take just one because it's may for each ally. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Do you think it's up to you or up to them? Oh no, they'll be spending their reaction.
So they spend their reaction, exactly. So it's both.
What if 3 of them decide? Then you die immediately after spending more points than you have.
Well, no, because you may spend 2 additional sorcery points for each ally. So you go you, not you, yes you.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
You make the decision.
Because you make the decision to spend the sorcery points. They make the decision to spend their reaction to teleport. So everyone gets involved.
It's a collaborative effort. It's a collaboration.
Yeah.
6 sorcery points. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so is this our Lightning Rider feature, or is this?
I think this is Ride the Lightning, because if we're thinking Call Lightning as well as like Lightning Bolt, being able to spark along the area of it and just like dismount at any point along it, makes sense for Ride the Lightning to me. Because if we're going to do 14th feature to be our constriction option, the more
big transform Behir time.
Yeah, this is Ride the Lightning.
Is this Ride the Lightning?
This is Ride the Lightning.
Stream, is this Ride the Lightning?
Is this Ride the Lightning? Straw poll.
Straw poll. Back in. Another one.
And another one. Yeah, Electric Shuffle.
Electric Shuffle's very good.
It's very good, yeah.
It's very in line with what a lot of
other streamers do, basing a lot of their stuff on stuff that is in pop culture. Because I know one of the streams that's actually based here in Atlanta,
cool.
North by Northwest. Where I'm listening to it is they have a DM who is basing all of his characters and all of his missions on like heavy metal music. So there's
nice.
all kinds of stuff with it. It's pretty fun.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. And for this guy to be like lightning based and super heavy metal.
Okay,
I like it a lot.
We have confirmation on Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning confirmed.
Confirmed.
Fancy named ability. Early feels good.
Ride the Lightning. I'd agree with that actually. Yeah, it's cool having abilities early on that sound badass. So and 6th level, like that's a significant investment for Sorcerer. Like you're 6 levels in. If you're multiclassing, you're even higher level. And either way, I think it suits.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so Ride the Lightning. When you cast a spell, the deals. Now, do we want to specify just lightning damage because it's called Ride the Lightning?
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Just to kind of narrow it down, because having a broader first level ability makes a bit more sense to me.
We could change it to Ride the Storm, but then we're definitely stepping on the Storm Soul's shoes, like 100%.
I feel like 2 per ally is a bit expensive. That's mean you could once a day bring 2 allies. 2 points is the same as Quicken. So Quicken spell is to shorten the ability, right?
Shorten the casting time. So do you think it should be 1 instead? Or do you think it should be 1 but the range should be limited? Because
the range is limited to the range of the spell.
And also within 30 feet of you.
Yeah. But I think 2 is reasonable, because 1 for yourself, because like you are connected to the ability and you're shunting people who are unfamiliar with the sensations through this thing.
Well, really what I think the discussion is how many sorcery points should it cost based on what sorcery points can do altogether. I think either 1 per ally or 2 for a bunch of allies. Now that's not a bad idea actually. Maybe I don't know if 2 for a bunch of allies. Maybe 3 for a bunch of allies.
One or the other. I would agree. I think it should be 1. Explain your reasoning.
So it would basically be that you could bring. So it would effectively mean. So the benefit, and I think it makes sense if it costs less. So the interesting thing about like costing things, and this is something I found when I designed my Warlord class. The Warlord had a resource called Orders. They could give a number of orders per short rest, but some of their more powerful orders cost multiple uses of the power. And the thing I actually found when I play tested it was like, all that happened was I was like, oh, I know the good order, it costs me like say 3 like order points to use. So I actually don't use any of my normal orders because I'm always trying to wait for the right time to use that. And so I'm actually not having more fun. I'm just always thinking about conserving them for this one big thing.
Yeah.
And actually making things cost less so you can do them more frequently without having to kind of overthink it is generally more rewarding.
Okay.
And you are already spending a spell.
Yeah.
So like
maybe I'm thinking too hard about its initial impact, because that's going to be a very cool first round spell.
Yeah.
But if you spend all of your sorcery points,
you're not teleport the whole party, then
you're not going to be.
That's a great fight. Like you probably won, but you spent all your sorcery points. You can't do it again. But
really good name. 69 says
it's a great name. 1
per and 3 for a group sounds decent. I think I'm coming around to the idea of 1 per person.
Okay,
makes
cool.
sense.
So let's say 1,
and then to a max of 3.
No, let's not. Let's not bother with the max, because realistically, you only ever have another max like 5 other party members. So you can do that once with everyone, and then that's your whole sorcery points for the day. That's your budget.
Yeah,
you've blown your budget. And then only like at higher levels can you start thinking about doing it more than once.
My reasoning is Daniel's reasoning. Fair.
Okay. So 3 for a group of friends would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because what you could basically do is set up the equivalent of a teleport circle.
Yeah.
So if it was like you may spend 1 additional sorcery point for each ally within 30 feet, or let's say 3 for every ally within 15 feet.
Okay.
So you almost like kind of, like you say, you plug your fingers into the ground, lightning spreads out, grabs everyone, and you all go together.
Yeah.
That could be very cool.
That might be cool for like the level 18 feature. Like you get a teleport or a plane shift.
That's true. Actually, we can always, because that's something we can do, is we can have another line that says at X level.
Oh yeah.
So we could literally just have another line that says whatever, like, I mean, just to pick, right? Like I could say like at 11th level, bring all your friends.
Bring all your friends. Bring all your friends.
Bring all your friends. So like we could do this. We could like we could sort of say, okay, we'll separate the power into like early on you can bring people, and then later on you can bring everyone, or we could just give it as part of it.
Somebody's knocking on the door, so we're gonna go to a be right back.
Yes.
Just a minute. Enjoy this. See you in a bit. We're back.
How you getting on?
How you getting on?
Just the neighbors with cat food.
Yep. Well, it was ordered through Amazon, and they just picked it up because they thought it was for them.
Yeah, and they were like, "This isn't.
We don't have cats."
There you go. Problem solved.
No, we do. There we are. So anyway, back to Ride the Lightning.
Yeah. So another thing about Ride the Lightning that I just realized as a kind of a balancing mechanic.
Okay.
Something to remember is that. If we are concerned about the spell being too good in terms of letting you teleport people, one of the simplest ways we can make it more limited is by just...
what have you done?
The wrong screen. Don't mind that dog. We're not podcasting too late. It's very reasonable, Atlanta. It's only 4 p.m, I think.
I think so. Check your phone.
What's my phone say?
Yeah, it's just 4 o'clock.
There you go. So sorry, Ride the Lightning. It's more flexible because it allows you to base it off spells that deal thunder damage. So a simple way to mitigate its flexibility is to reduce the way it does that. So as I mentioned before, if we returned it back to dealing only lightning damage, that would mean that less spells trigger it.
Right.
So it would be less flexible. If the concern is that it would be too powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Like, the thunder was still kind of like a step away from Behir, so if we're kind of are we Atlanteans?
Ancient.
Ancient indeed. Like if we're trying to like refine our connection to the Behir, it makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm all about flavor, baby.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So what I'm thinking is like a lot of the spells that that would be maybe more useful for teleporting are lightning based. There is obviously things like is Shatter Thunder damage, I believe it is.
Yes.
And so is Thunderwave, and those both give you a bit of flexibility in how you teleport. Although, obviously, Thunderwave's not that big. It's still flexible because it's a big box.
Yeah. Love a good box.
Exactly. So losing it isn't necessarily a huge problem.
No.
But it is also just fundamentally a less flexible ability, while also technically being more maybe appropriate and thematic.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think I like the idea of you can spend 3 sorcery points. Let's say, why don't we try this as wording? Instead,
take a look at you, Sen.
Take a look at you, Sen, and stop. Instead, you may, Matt.
You, Matt. Just you.
Only Matt can teleport. Instead, you may spend 3 sorcery points. I'm going to spell this right. Nailed it. Points to, let's say, grant this benefit to each ally within 10 feet.
10 feet makes sense. That is up to
10 feet's
16 people, I think. No, that's up to 25 people total. If you have everybody standing like right beside each other in an array. Because you're in the middle with 10 either side makes it 5 squares by 5 squares.
Yeah, but realistically you will never get that, so it doesn't matter. Don't tell me I'm going to go to bed. You are right though, it is past my bedtime. So I like this. This is fun. I also like the sort of feeling of you have to gather everyone up and launch them like a cannonball.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
You get, if you want to do it as lightning flavor, you can do the lightning, like you're plugging your fingers in, and if you want to do it for thunder, you just get everybody go like 1, 2, 3, and everybody claps. that's being flavorful, boy.
So that's an interesting point then. Do we think that is good enough that we want to...
How would it work with Thunderstep?
I guess you would bring one person because Thunderstep lets you do that.
Yeah, Thunderstep is, I think,
but wait, everyone
enough.
Nearby would still take damage because you don't interact with that.
Yeah.
So everyone would get to teleport, but they'd presumably still take damage because they're in the spell area.
And it's only your allies?
Unless it specifies that the damage is dealt after you teleport, in which case you would teleport, and then you could teleport back. Which seems like it would be kind of a waste. But there's nothing stopping you doing that because it's... So the spell itself creates an area of damage. So the feature lets you teleport to the area of damage. Thunderstep also lets you teleport distinctly from that. So depending on the order of operations, you either get to teleport away and then teleport back, or you teleport and then long range teleport again. Thunderstep, I don't know if it's in there. I think it is. I'm not sure either. Xanthar's.
Yeah, probably.
But depending on the timing of the spell, you might be able to bring all your friends, or you might have to hit them all with lightning / thunder to bring them with you.
Thunder damage. Thunderous Smite is another one. So if you deal thunder damage,
you have to learn Thunderous Smite though. So you have to be a paladin. Also, it's the area of the spell is the dude you hit, so you just hit him and then teleport next to him.
Everybody's inside him.
Yes, Tim.
Or adjacent to him.
It's adjacent. It's literally there.
You hit him, and then you're suddenly hugging him, and then you activate your constrict ability
with your second action on your turn.
All my actions.
I use all my turns at once.
How's he doing this? Screw the rules. I have money.
I'll never take a turn again in my life. Just let me do this. I promise I'll never do another turn. Just let me do this once. Okay, Thunderstep. You teleport yourself to an unoccupied space you can see within range. The range is 90 feet. Immediately after you disappear, Immediately after you disappear, a thunderous boom sounds, and each creature within 10 feet of the space you'd left must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 3d10 thunder damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Thunder can be heard from blah, blah, blah. You can bring objects as long as they don't exceed your carrying capacity. You can teleport one willing creature of your size or smaller who's carrying gear up to its carrying capacity. The creature must be within 5 feet of you when you cast a spell, and there must be an unoccupied space within 5 feet of your destination space for the creature to appear in. Otherwise, the creature's left behind. We probably need to include that because you always need to include that in teleporting.
That could be really cool. So you could use that to you step away, and then the damage is dealt, and wherever you step away to, you can grab people from there and bring them to wherever your damage was being dealt, so that the people in the space take the damage. Your friends appear
around the area of damage. So what you can basically do, is you can use it to take someone for free and then teleport everyone else. So it's basically really good.
Yeah, you zap one person out and then zap someone else or some other people in.
Yeah, or you and your friends are surrounded and then you thunderstep and everyone gets to unsurrounded.
Ooh. Or you're suddenly surrounding them.
Yeah. So with thunderstep, because it says that after you teleport, you deal the damage.
Damage is dealt, and then your people can stand beside it. Although within this, we said that they can stand in an occupied space in the adjacent area.
To the area affected by the spell, which is a cone around you. Thunderous Smite, teleport the barbarian from 30 feet over to help. Yes, that's a really good idea.
There you go.
But you do also have to learn Thunderous Smite, which means you either have to take a paladin level or take spell. I don't remember the name of the feature. It's the thing that lets you learn other people's spells. It's in the player's handbook. It's a feature. I can't remember. But yes, you could do that. That seems fine because you are spending a first level spell slot and a sorcery point, and also you're trying to make a melee weapon attack as a sorcerer. So something's gone wrong.
You're feeling really lucky.
But I don't know. That's pretty cool. That's a really fun idea. It feels kind of cool that you can do that. To be honest, you can basically use your powers to summon in your friends. I like that a lot. So
this is a fun, very broad ability.
Although weirdly,
the only limit is your imagination and the spells you have.
Okay. You could also Shocking Grasp instead.
I think because
it says first level or higher. Shocking Grasp is a cantrip.
Yeah.
So
otherwise, you'd just be doing the Omoiwa motion that you shocking grasp your friend and your enemy and then appear behind him.
Although in fairness, you could let it be spells of any level because you still have to spend the sorcery points to teleport. I personally think it should be spells of first level or higher because you are spending multiple resources. I think if you could do it with cantrips, it would probably be slightly too flexible, and you'd probably also end up with a situation where you'd really only ever use it for cantrips. What you probably end up doing is using it for cantrips to send your allies to get to charge the enemy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You lightning spark someone far away or whatever, and then you get to throw your friend at them.
Yeah.
For one sorcery point, and you don't have to spend any other resources. Whereas you have to spend a spell, and then you have to spend a sorcery point, and that to me feels fair.
Yeah.
So what's the only thing that I think you can teleport just your friends, because you may spend one sorcery point to teleport, and then you may spend one additional sorcery point for each ally. So I think you can interpret the rules in such a way where I choose to spend 0 on myself, and then I choose to spend 1 to teleport Tim. So that's fine. So I think you can do the Thunderous Smite, summon a barbarian, which is cool. I like that a lot. And probably, in fairness, it's probably the only reason you would take Thunderous Smite as a sorcerer, which is cool because now suddenly you're a sorcerer with Thunderous Smite and it's different.
Yeah, very lightning and thunder themed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thing. Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Instead, you may spend 3 sorcery points to grant this benefit to each ally within 10 feet.
Within 10 feet.
That probably needs to be made more clear.
Yeah, otherwise you might just be shuffling the board. Although
no, as in wording, it needs to be more clear that you are letting them spend their reaction to teleport.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily clear immediately. So that doesn't need to be tidied up, but that we know what the intention is for now.
Yes.
So I think we can move on. As written, it wouldn't work with anything that rolled to hit, right?
I need to roll to hit.
So that was so we talked about the idea that it could say adjacent to the target. So I guess the question is, if it's a targeted spell, is the person the area affected by the spell?
Yeah, I'd say so.
No, it's not. It's sponsored by RC Cola.
Remote Control Cola.
Remote Control Cola. No, it's Royal Crown Cola, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's in this country. You should know.
What's the one from Fallout?
Nuka.
Nuka Cola. Sponsored by Nuka Cola.
So it might be written in such a way that it doesn't work if you roll to hit. It depends on whether a creature you hit with a spell counts as an area affected by a spell. We did have it earlier that it said teleport to an unoccupied space adjacent to the area affected by the spell or the target of the spell, which we could add back because that does just make it clear that it still works on target spells.
It's targeted but also area. Okay. Could have gotten a sponsorship from Talas, #1 D&D setting. We could have.
We didn't
reach out.
We couldn't. We can't swing those deals. We don't have the clout.
I mean, you've said it now, so we've basically shouted it out already.
Yeah, there you go. Spend 1 sorcery point to teleport to an adjacent to the area affected by the spell. Adjacent to the area affected by the spell, or
affected by or targeted by the spell. Affected or targeted by the spell.
Affected or targeted, yeah.
An area affected or individual targeted?
Area affected or... there's all specific ways you could you could specify it, but hang on, what's the other thing? I would read that as having to spend 1 on yourself to be able to spend the points on allies, since it says additional. Otherwise, I'd say you may also spend 1 sorcery point too.
Okay, well, we're just kind of scratching it down here, essentially.
That is fair. See, the reason I would interpret it differently is because you may spend 1 on yourself, and then you may spend 1 additional 1 on your allies. But 0 plus 1 is still an additional sorcery point.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But I do think that's fair. You could say it differently, and I think there's definitely ways to make it more clear.
Yeah. We'll work on those off stream once we're like. But
I think it's all good inputs. Definitely to know, like, because these are the questions you should ask when you're looking at a piece of design.
These are the questions worth asking.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fair. So you could reword it to make it more clear that you don't have to send yourself to send some friends.
Yes.
And you could also reword it to make it more clear that you have to. That it also works if you hit someone, if you roll to hit someone, because it's a target. You probably also need to add the addendum that if they teleport somewhere and there's no space, they're not allowed to teleport, because that's a rule with all teleports, basically.
It is an unoccupied space. So if it's occupied by walls or stone.
But it's also like the number of creatures. So because we can take technically an unlimited number of creatures, it should specify that if there's no room along the area of the spell, then they are not allowed to come with you.
Right.
Because that's the kind of thing you always say when you let someone teleport. You always say if you can't fit there, you're not allowed to go.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll get the fly thing, or you've teleported with your friends, and you're suddenly this
and then you're
gross amalgam of both of them.
Then you get to be 2 characters.
Wow, I get to play 2 characters.
Okay, so Ride the Lightning. Aside from some very reasonable rules queries, which we will answer, I think we're pretty happy with where that feature is at.
Yeah.
So let's jump to level 14. You have advanced 8 levels since your last Sorcerer feature.
Well, at level, did we? Oh, you removed the addendum of 11.
No, I didn't bother. I just thought it made more sense to just do it like that.
Cool.
Because you could do that, but I just didn't think it was necessary.
Okay. So 14th level. I think, as we were talking about earlier, having it be a kind of morphology, like your body is changing. So now you suddenly have snake arms.
Snake arms. The one part of snakes famously. Okay.
Your arms are now snakes, and they allow you to grapple real good.
Okay, so
shut up, Tim.
I'm literally just going to tune you out. You can keep talking. So what we want to happen effectively is that you begin to transform into Behir. You start to have features like them. So let's say that I'm probably going to treat this like our Behiric ancestry thing, because it's kind of because spells that let you transform or abilities that let you transform are always slightly complicated, because you have to mention a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably do like a sort of a short fire version of it, but I do like the idea. So why don't we say that? Okay, so probably you increase in size.
Ooh.
Increase in size to large.
Ooh. Permanently?
Well, I think you probably
upon activation.
So you're level 14, so you got fucking loads of sorcery points. You got sorcery points for days. So I think this should probably cost 3 or 4 sorcery points.
Okay.
So let's say
full of them.
Let's make it a bonus action again, which is a little stronger than a normal action, but otherwise you don't get anything to do with them. So as a bonus action, you can spend 3/4. I'm going to put that because I don't know yet. Sorcery points.
3/4 sorcery points.
You spend 3/4 of a sorcery point to transform into a Behiric amalgam.
Ooh.
I'm just going to use that word. Okay.
GUM, but it doesn't matter.
Is it GUM?
I might be wrong. Never mind.
Okay. So, increase your size to large. Increase reach by 5 feet. Advantage on grappling.
Yeah.
Just put advantage on grappling.
Yes.
We can come back to the sort of explaining what that means, but advantage on grappling I think is mostly clear enough.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and go for kind of a constrict style thing. Let's say grappled creatures take D8 of that's too little. We're level 14 for God's sake.
14.
What's
2d8?
2d8 sounds good.
Yeah, it's a little better than the old just whipping out a great sword.
Lightning damage.
Or 1d6 lightning, 1d6 thunder?
No.
Or is that too much?
I think
splitting your damage is awkward.
So splitting damage is generally draconic ability at 14 level costs no sorcery points. Is that the distinction between it and the divine soul? Because I believe the divine soul costs points.
Divine soul, dragon wings. I mean, I believe you.
Actually, I think they're just the same. What's the speed on the dragon wings?
During you gain the ability to sprout a pair of wings from your back, gaining a fly speed equal to your current speed.
Okay, so the difference is that the otherworldly wings are a fly speed of 30 feet.
Oh,
so they're worse. You can gain them
better.
You gain them. You gain them as a bonus action. You lose them as a bonus action, or you can choose to lose them as a bonus action.
Yeah, you kind of snap your fingers.
Okay, so it could be no sorcery points, but
just kind of as a transformation. Should it limit your ability to cast spells or something?
Here's lightning is dealt to d10s. Oh, cool, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That's a good idea. Let's do that. D10s.
2 D108s.
This fucking the delete is the backspace.
It's right beside it.
It's just a. Okay, so
2d10.
So
that's chunky.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. So maybe it costs. So you spend 0/3/4. Because it might be none.
Yeah.
Sorcery points to transform into Behiric Amalgam. You increase your size to large. You increase your reach by 5 feet. You have advantage on grapples. Grapple creatures take D10 damage, lightning damage at the start.
That could really mess up
each of their
physical
turns. What? Sorry?
Because you are changing size, would that mess with your physical stats, like your strength, dex, and con? No.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want a game that changes your physical stats based on the size, you should play Pathfinder. In 5th edition, it does not exist. In 5th edition, if you cast Giant Growth on yourself, you get advantage on strength checks.
Yeah.
But you don't get any changes to the actual numbers.
If you use Enlarge, you get plus 1d4 damage on stuff.
Yep. You get 1d4 damage, and you get advantage on strength checks, and I think saving throws as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes sense because you're just big.
Sure.
But no, there's no actual modification to the numbers. They don't like doing that. If they can help it. Okay, increase size to large. Increase reach by 5 feet. Advantage on grapple. Grapple creatures take 2d10 damage at the start of each of their turns. That's an OV. Let's get rid of that. We could do something to do with the fact that you can constrict them with your body and not your arms.
Okay.
To let you grapple more.
You sprout 2 more arms?
You could gain 2 more arms, but that's probably too good. Arms are really valuable.
Yeah.
Just like real life.
There's no way to have specifically grappling arms.
you could, what you can basically say is that you can grapple an additional number of creatures. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Is say something like while in this form you can maintain 2 additional grapples.
Ooh.
Something like that.
Just to make it significant at all.
That's probably... You probably have to say you can maintain 2 additional grapple. There's probably... I actually don't know the exact language because I don't know what the exact language... Another language is maintaining grapples. but I don't know what the language is around gaining extra grapples.
You could gain a constricting body.
You could gain a constricting body.
That's something to give a swallow ability.
So you could eat him.
Just munch him.
Start swallowing enemies at this point. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. No squeeze penalty. That's a good point as well. Yeah, let's add that.
Cool. No squeeze penalty.
Advantage on grappling. Let's just go ahead and say no penalty for squeezing, which is cool because that plays well with your ability to be flipping huge, which is lots of fun.
Flipping massive.
Increase in size to large. You could do the thing where it just says you increase your size category, where you can then stack it. But I prefer that maybe we just say increase your size to large, unless we want to go for, is it huge? The Behir is huge, but that's a bit much.
Yeah, you're an amalgam. You're the middle ground.
Yeah, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, increase in size to large, increase reach by 5 feet, advantage on grappling. I kind of like that you've suddenly gone from like a sorcerer to like a grapple build. That's a lot of fun. While in this form, you can maintain 2 additional grapples.
It's like a kind of a last resort kind of thing, or like you've suddenly found yourself surrounded.
Maybe
not super useful in much standard combat.
There's a few other things to include. We got that great suggestion about allowing you to increase the damage of your lightning spells while grappling things, which I actually want to bring up.
Okay.
And we also have the ability to eat people.
I unhinge my jaw like a snake.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Fear my grapple build.
Everyone's always sandbagging a grapple build somewhere. There's a lot of different ways we can do this. Or you could have a constrict and thus impose restrained. That's true. You could just say that you can, when you grapple someone, they're also restrained. Maybe gain a bite attack that can swallow medium or small creatures. You could do that. Swallowing is super complicated.
Yeah, it's really awkward.
Like there isn't like the swallowed condition, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You could gain a bite attack and say that when you bite them, they also get grappled, which would be as close as you'd get to kind of swallowing, without then going, here's how swallowing works. They're in your belly, and this is what they can do, which you could do. But I don't know.
Instead of physically changing, you could swallow someone into lightning.
That's a really cool idea.
That's pretty cool. Like kind of a lightning whip. It just kind of wraps around them.
Well, no, it's almost more like instead of physically changing, you basically channel like a lightning Behir around you. It's almost like a light show.
Kind of like
you're using it,
like in Scott Pilgrim with the big lightning monsters.
Yeah, exactly. In the Battle of the Bands. Yeah.
That'd be cool. And then you use those to.
Swallowing tends to get you stabbed from the inside. Fair, absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that lightning though. The not physically changing, just kind of using the lightning to do everything around you.
It sort of depends on what you're into. Like, what you could do is you could.
Are you into vor?
Yeah, exactly. Are you into vor? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves every day.
We do.
So like, because like on the one hand, summoning like a skeleton of a Behir, like a lightning skeleton around you, is pretty cool, and it's sort of like channeling and kind of has like a.
It's almost still, like it's still very physical, so
it still has like a magical aspect. Whereas like transforming into a Behiric like semi-being is way more like body horror.
Yeah,
like it's like something's gone wrong.
Oh god!
Like it's effectively
this
like
thing's trying to swallow me. I don't understand.
It's basically like I've actually leveled up too many times. I should have stopped at level 13 and retired, which is kind of cool in its own way. It's kind of a cool energy. I do think that if it's going to be a lightning Behir that lets you do a bunch of stuff, I think probably the lightning Behir costs sorcery points to summon. Because at that stage we are actually getting close to the Hound of Ill Omen, the Shadow Sorcerer feature, which isn't a bad thing. But I think then you have to kind of go, okay, well, you summon it around you, and here's the stuff it does, which is very cool. I actually really like it.
If you wanted to get really kind of detailed, you could have it as like you summon basically a couple of Behir arms around you and a Behir head.
Okay.
So that the head can maybe swallow, and you basically just lift from the actual Behir stats. Although they are challenge rating 11, so having a challenge rating 11, like things taken out of a challenge rating 11 might be.
Well, remember you are high level. You're level 14,
yeah.
And also you are spending permanent resources. You're spending sorcery points to do this, so you are committing to it.
Yeah.
I think maybe if so maybe if it's like you can summon a kind of like a lightning shaped Behiric spirit, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
Just a full on lightning Behir around you. I think we can remove the 0 from that potential.
Well, let's leave it for now because we don't know what it does yet. Because it might end up being the case that you actually needed to do a bunch of stuff, and maybe that stuff costs sorcery points, but it's free to summon.
Okay.
To summon the spirit of an ancient Behir trapped in lightning.
Ooh.
Spirit of
the lightning Behir sounds cool, and it's a bit more unique since it's a step away from the polymorph effects. Yeah,
that's absolutely true. Yeah. Your ancestral Behir. Let's say your Behiric ancestor.
Yeah.
Your Behir ancestor. It's really chained in lightning.
Oh, cool.
And fury.
Ooh, Daniel.
I'm a writer.
I'm a lefter.
I'm a well done. Okay, so as a bonus action, you can spend some amount of sorcery points. We'll come up with it later. Maybe none. Who knows? To summon the spirit of your Behir ancestor chained in lightning and fury. Okay, so what the hell do they do once you summon?
That should probably be an action.
But then maybe, who knows? See, what I'm thinking is basically you summon them as a bonus action, and then you can spend later actions. Exactly. Basically, the Behir just doesn't do a lot. Yeah. Maybe when you summon it,
it gets kind of a multi-attack.
So probably what happens is when you summon it, a number of creatures nearby take some damage straight away.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So each creature of your choice within Behir is huge, which is 3x3.
3x3.
So will we say 10 feet?
Within 10 feet? Well, that's going up to 5x5.
I know, but like you're.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm thinking more like the Behir.
Behir has
what I'm thinking is if the Behir is standing here, but the Behir has reach.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So
within
each creature of choice within 10 feet. Must make a dexterity because it's lightning. Saving throw.
What does lightning breath do? 12d10.
Okay, that's a bit much. On a failure, they suffer. I'm going to go with 2d10 again. I think that's a good number. But we're going to do something else. On a failure, they suffer 2d10. Lightning. I forgot the I. I'm doing my best. Lightning damage, and they are grappled by the lightning.
You could scroll down on the page there, just since we're getting
of course, yeah. Oh, there you are, boys.
There we are. A bit more. Oh yeah, we're actually right behind the.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, scroll all the way.
All right, we're gonna have to say goodbye to our previous features for now. On failure, they suffer 2d10 lightning damage, and they are grappled by the lightning. On a success, they take half as much. They take half as much lightning damage. It's lightning.
Half as much of lightning.
Okay.
Suddenly from Shropshire.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this stuff for now.
Yep.
Because I think we can say that
we've moved beyond it.
We've moved beyond such primitive tools. All right, that's gone. So, as a bonus action, you can spend probably some amount of sorcery points to summon the spirit of your Behir ancestor chained in lightning and fury. Each creature of your choice within 10 feet must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, they suffer 2d10 lightning damage, and they are grappled by the lightning. On a success, they take half as much lightning damage.
Cool.
Okay, so that's what it does when you have it. You make it happen.
When you call it.
It does that. Maybe it is free to summon, and then you have to spend sorcery points to do more stuff with it.
To control it.
Okay, cool. So we still have a bunch of interesting ideas that I like. Let's go ahead and add something like creatures grappled by the lightning suffer an additional 1d10 lightning damage at the start of each turn. Another 2d10.
Yeah, 2d10.
2d10.
Back
one. Additional 2d10 lightning.
we're probably going to have to come up with
at
stats
the
for them.
start of each of their turns. Stats for who?
Unless it's like an auto grapple.
What
Like, are we saying that the manifestations can automatically grapple the enemies?
So this is the thing. So I'm thinking you summon it and it grapples everyone, and then you'll be able to spend sorcery points or actions to make it do it again.
So if they fail the dexterity save, they are grappled, or
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if they fail the dexterity
save,
save,
and
they are grappled as normal.
Oh, I didn't read that and I wasn't paying attention.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Got you. I got your back.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
on failure, they suffer 2d10 lightning damage, and they're grappled by the lightning. On success, they take half as much lightning damage, and they're not grappled, obviously.
Okay.
Creatures grappled by the lightning suffer an additional 2d10 lightning damage at the start of each of their turns.
And they can make a roll off against your spell save.
Well, they're just grappled. Actually, yeah, so that's a good point. They probably need to escape the grapple by rolling against your spell save DC as opposed to against your
strength. Or
yeah, exactly, yeah. Which I believe I have a thing that...
Excuse me.
You are excused. I believe I have something similar here that I can use to... I just got that, sorry. Yeah, so then we need to say that so then we go something like grappled creatures can escape by...
Popper says, should they be grappled or restrained?
I think they should be grappled base, and I think that you should be able to swallow with the lightning to restrain one enemy. So I think this thing is going to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's probably free to summon, and then it costs sorcery points every time you want it to do something else.
Yeah. So it's kind of up to you how complicated you want to make your life for the next couple rounds.
Kind of, yeah. So I like the idea that it's free to summon, and it attacks everyone around you. Maybe you can use it once per short rest, and you can use it again if you spend a sorcery point or something.
Yeah.
Or you can just keep spending bonus actions to summon it.
Okay.
And then, like, if you want to do more stuff with it, there's more action opportunities. There's a chance to can escape by attempting... actually, no, sorry. You can just say grapple creatures.
Can roll to escape the grapple on a DC or versus your spell save DC. How to word that though?
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's the funny thing is. Well, we'll come back to it. Very similar to Evard's Black Tentacles. Thank you. Good thinking, Batman.
Evard. Good old Evard, whoever he is.
Let's see here.
Must be Tensor's friend. If you're looking for something to compare to... Oh, right. Very similar to that if you're looking for something to compare to. Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it says...
Could use Electric Shuffle around grapple creatures for free if you want to add more movement abilities. That's cool.
Ooh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, because they're going to be in a lightning... They're going to be experiencing lightning damage. Wow, this is really stacking up.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, that is kind of like lending itself to itself.
Okay, so hang on, sorry. So let's put some... so let's just go ahead and shorthand it to grapple creatures.
Escape versus...
Just say contest your spell save DC, exactly, yeah. Let's just say that for now. We can obviously put it in long form later, but we don't want to get held down by it. Because there's lots of cool stuff we still want to do.
Yeah.
Cool, okay. Grapple creatures contest your spell DC. Excellent. Okay. Delicious lightning layers. Okay, cool. So, God, there's so many interesting things we can do now. Fucking hell, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, so yeah, you could literally do stuff like, while you have your Behir around, you can electric shuffle without casting spells.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And then you can even give it to your friends, and then everyone gets to move more.
Let's all do the electric shuffle.
That's so exciting. Grapple creatures contest your spell save DC. Okay. There's so many things that Behir can do. It's so hard to decide what to write next.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say...
Are we saying that it is a Behir? So it has a head and the grapple.
It's basically like your basic... I think of it as exactly like the Battle of the Bands in Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
You summon a big sort of ectoplasmic thing around you made of lightning, and it's, as far as anyone else can tell, it's a full form, but it's like translucent. People still know you're in there.
Yeah.
They can tell it's not a real creature.
And they can shoot you through it. Or
Yeah. I don't think... I mean, like, I actually think you could make it do some cool defensive stuff. But I think that would make it even more complicated. And there's already so much it can do that we have to be careful about what we let it do. But I do agree that, like, you could have it that, like, while it's around you, something, maybe you're harder to hit with ranged attacks.
Yeah.
But even that is a very specific thing we're doing, which is, like, there's already so much it can do, so we have to be careful. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's grapple. You've got a bunch of dudes around you.
Yeah. Grappled in lightning.
Yep. Okay, so
I think the incorporealness would kind of remove the swallow idea. Like, if it's going to try to munch somebody, it's either just like holding it in like a...
Okay, but it's already grappling them with lightning, so...
Yeah, like the lightning is fine, but like to swallow something, it would have to like grab them with its mouth, and maybe it's holding them in like an electric cage that is kind of a swallow-ish.
But it's all electric cages.
Yeah.
Like, none of it's not real, Tim.
It's not real. It is, Daniel. How dare you? My imagination is real.
Okay, so grapple creature can test your spell save DC. Let's go ahead and say, while you have your
Behir buddy
spirit summoned,
more alliteration. I'm a fan.
Summoned, you may spend 1 sorcery point. I'm just gonna say 1. Maybe it should be free, I don't know. While you have your spirit summoned, you may spend 1 sorcery point to generate one of the following effects.
Woo!
Nice and generic. I can do whatever I want now.
Follow with the
effects. Cool. Okay, brilliant. Let's do this. All right.
That's how you do a bullet point.
It is. I remembered. Okay, while you have your spirit summoned, you may spend 1 sorcery point to generate one of the following effects. Let's say as an action. Sorry.
As an action. Okay.
As an action.
Action.
As a father. Okay, so while you have spirit summoned, you spend 1 sorcery point to generate one of the following effects as an action. We're basically going to summarize these and come back to them because there's a bunch of stuff we want to do. Swallow.
Yes.
1 enemy.
Grapple additional enemy.
Yeah, let's say 1 enemy. I'm going to add at a time because he only has 1 mouth.
Yes.
AoE grapple again.
Okay.
Again.
Oh, so like reactivate the activation
Exactly,
thing?
yeah. So basically you go like boom, another time everyone has to make another dex save. And if you fail, I'm going to eat you.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, I dropped a pick.
How dare you.
AoE grapple again. That's great.
Maybe like a claw attack, like a lightning claw, just so you can deal like another, like maybe 1d10, or do you want to just keep all the damage as a consistent 2d10?
Maybe. Hang on. So
maybe you can shoot lightning. Maybe it has a lightning breath as like a final hurrah.
Ooh, that could be cool. You can basically spend 1 sorcery point, lightning breath, and then you lose the summon.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of interesting. How much is the lightning breath? It's like fucking super strong, right?
It's 12d10.
Right, and
then I think. Oh no, it's a line.
It is a line, but that's still 12d10, and a normal lightning bolt is 8d6. No, it's not 8d6. Is it 8d6?
No, because I think that's the fireball.
I think it says, but I thought it was the same damage as a fireball, but in a different area.
I'll look it up real quick.
Good man.
ZYXWV UTSRQPL.
Can just scroll down a bit more. Give everyone the
lightning bolt is 8d6, you're right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So all minute of time, AoE grapple again.
Level 3.
Oh, okay. Maybe let's just add it briefly. Lightning, breath, brackets. Yeah, lose summon. Lose summon.
I think that we should do this as like a once per day thing. Otherwise, you could just like explode lightning breath, you know, and just keep doing just like infinite lightning damage.
Yeah.
Or once per short rest, maybe. Because you just get back in touch with your man after hanging up the phone on him.
Could be, yeah. Could be that you get once per short rest. Could also be that you spend sorcery points initially to summon them.
You could spend 1 to buff your lightning/thunder spells. Someone suggests. Doka Poper.
Spend 1 to buff your lightning thunder spells. That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
But we do want to include the idea that you buff your lightning thunder spells by grappling dudes, which reinforces the original theme.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe.
Although it would be kind of pointless to buff your lightning spells because you were using your action to already do these lightning effects. So are you just spending a turn to like power up?
So maybe we have then a passive feature that's like
it should be concentration probably, as like a spell would be.
But then you can't cast any concentration spells.
Yeah,
which is very limiting.
You're also
very limiting. I don't think it should be concentration like a spell because
how can somebody knock it out of you then?
If you're incapacitated, you lose it.
Okay.
That's what the wings do normally.
Yeah.
The wings are just, if you get incapacitated, they stop working.
Okay.
Or at least that's the Divine Soul does that. But maybe, hang on, let's. But for now, I want to do with the more stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So while you have the spirit summoned, you can spend a sorcery point generate with the final house. Swallow one enemy at a time, which is like basically they will become restrained.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably restrained and maybe something else, but there's a lot of stuff it could do.
Yeah.
Obviously, swallowing. How much damage does swallowing do there?
Swallowing does 66 acid damage at the start of each of their turns.
Okay. So swallowing could say that they'll take an additional lightning damage each round, additional d10. So they go up to 3d10, and they are restrained.
If you call it 4d10, that's an average of 20, which is
similar. Oh, cool. That's a very good idea. Okay, so then we can say swallow one enemy at a time. Damage increases.
It's 22, I think.
To 4d10.
Yeah.
And the creature is restrained.
Oh shit.
It's Command Z.
Command Z.
There you go. Damage increases and the creature is restrained. Spell save. DC blah blah. And the other thing is there's something else I wanted to say about this.
About the swallow?
About the swallow. The creature.
Restrained damage. I mean, people were talking about like you take stabby damage when you swallow things.
No, that was if you ate something, it would stab you.
Trying to think what would have sparked whatever you were thinking.
Spell save DC, they're restrained. It was something to do with I can't remember. Okay, so let's go ahead and say let's add a few passive things.
Okay.
Whenever a creature it would be as long as a creature is grappled by the spirit, you can
tickle them.
As long as the creature is grappled by the spirit, you can use your electric shuffle feature as if you had cast a spell of first level or higher that deals
really powerful
lightning. It is very powerful. Or thunder damage.
Okay.
So you can electric shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
You could. I don't think necessarily we want to add ride the lightning as well, because ride the lightning is super good on its own.
Yeah.
But I think we do want to say that for each creature, excuse me,
you can leave.
grappled or restrained by your spirit, your spells that deal lightning damage deal 2 additional damage per creature.
2 additional damage?
I just picked a number. It could
Sure.
be any. It could be more, it could be less. I literally was like, It could be charisma mod per creature.
Because that's what the sorcerers use.
Yeah, hang on. Or restrained by your spells does deal lightning damage. Deal additional damage.
Charisma additional damage.
Deal additional
Just
damage. Deal additional damage. It will be. I think you're worded equal to your charisma modifier. Per creature.
Tasty.
So that would be really strong.
Yeah.
Because you will probably have +5. So if you have at least 2 creature grappled, that's +10 damage per attack.
Yup.
Your spells. Let's go ahead and say your spells are first level or higher. Level.
Just to prevent the old shock.
I just don't think that we should superpower cantrips because I don't think that's. I think it's okay to say your lightning spells are way stronger, but you still have to spend the spell slot. Is a lot more reasonable then. Your lightning spells are stronger, even your cantrips are super good. When cantrips already scale pretty well.
Yeah. They don't need more help. At level 14, I think you have 3d10 already on your shocking grasp,
which
or
is quite
3d8
good.
maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so let's go top to bottom again. As a bonus action, you can spend probably no sorcery points.
Yeah.
To summon the spirit of your Behir ancestor chained in lightning and fury. Each creature of your choice within 10 feet must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, they suffer 2d10 lightning damage, and they are grappled by the lightning. On a success, they take half as much lightning damage.
But they're still grappled.
No.
No. Should we clarify that?
I don't think you need to, because you are implicitly not imposed with conditions unless it says you are.
Okay.
Because it says if they fail, they are grappled.
Ah, gotcha.
So by definition, if they don't fail, they're not grappled.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. On a success, they take half as much lightning damage. Creatures grappled by the lightning suffer an additional 2d10 lightning damage at the start of each of their turns. Grappled creatures contest your spell save DC. Okay, that obviously needs to be worded properly, but for now we understand what we're saying.
Yes.
While you have your spirit summoned, you may spend 1 sorcery point to generate one of the following effects as an action. 1, swallow 1 enemy. Damage increases to 4d10, and the creature is restrained. They have to contest your spell save DC to... I actually don't think they...
So are we saying the damage increases each round to 4d10, or the damage on that turn?
We are saying the damage, as long as they are swallowed, as long as they are restrained, the damage increases to 4d10.
So each time they fail to escape. They're restrained, so they're just taking consistent damage at the start of their turn, just like in the normal swallowed condition.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay, you can reactivate the AoE grapple, so you can make everyone. You may make everyone make a dexterity saving throw, and if they fail, they're grappled. So you can basically reset that, or you can spend 1 sorcery point to use your lightning breath feature, which also gets rid of the summon, by definition, also freeing all swallowed creatures.
Yes.
And ungrappling all grappled creatures.
God, this would be horrifying.
What to
go up
fight?
against.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As long as a creature is grappled by your spirit, you can use your electric shuffle feature as if you had cast a spell of first level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage.
Tasty.
Okay, and the electric says after you cast a spell of first level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage. So so that'll make sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think so.
And then we have for each creature grappled or restrained by your spirit, your spells of first level or higher that deal lightning damage. So we are getting rid of thunder damage for that one.
Yes.
Deal additional damage equal to your charisma modifier per creature. Which is very strong. It could be different. Could be your proficiency modifier, which would be different but strong too.
Yeah.
Could be just a flat number like 2 or 3. It could be for each creature grappled you can reroll the damage dice. Yeah, could be a lot of things.
That's a lot. I think that's a solid, at least, base for what we want to do with this crazy summon ability.
Yes.
It is a lot, I think. We may need to even pare it back just to kind of have it kind of in line with what exactly you can do at 14th level for most other.
And we probably also need to add the stipulation that you cannot use this feature again until after you
probably remove the ability to AoE grapple again. Maybe.
Until after you have finished a short or long rest. Let's just put that there for now. So we're basically saying once per short rest you can do this. Don't know how usual or unusual that is for a sorcerer ability.
Yeah.
It makes it more tactical for when you decide to activate and is less punishing for enemies who escape. Well, that's actually a very good point. That's a very good point, especially when we add the feature that how long does the summon last? Also a very relevant question. Probably a minute, maybe an hour.
I'd say a minute's reasonable.
Probably a minute. That basically means once per fight. It makes it more tactical for when you decide to activate it, and it makes it less punishing for enemies. So that's a really, really good point, and also makes it so that you get one AoE grapple. Do you get... So that's interesting. So you can swallow enemies to deal to effectively super grapple them.
Yeah.
So then you can either... That's interesting. Okay, that's really interesting. So then you have the choice of either grappling enemies who are already damaged, who are already grappled. Sorry, eating enemies who are already grappled, or eating new enemies and letting people escape. So then the question is there any way to grapple again after you've summoned, or is it only the swallow restrain and nothing else?
Maybe lose the AoE, but have an individual grapple. You can it's a great big summon for 0 sorcery points, but you can spend one for maybe 1 sorcery point for one foe isn't quite enough. Maybe in a cone. No, that's still awkward.
Well, no, because think if it's 1 sorcery point for one foe, it's not great. You are right, but if it's the exact same feature, so they make a dex save. On failure, they're grappled. They take 2d10. On success, they still take half of 2d10. That's not bad.
Yeah,
it's basically like a slightly bad first level spell.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible given you're already getting a bunch of other features.
And you are spending sorcery. If you spend 1 sorcery point, you get one level point back. Maybe you can spend per sorcery point, you can re-grapple.
Okay.
So
again, you're getting kind of
sorcery point.
You can spend multiple to grab each. But I don't necessarily know how valuable that is. I think probably people would prefer to spend the 1 point to swallow enemies because they can basically. So.
But then if something's swallowed, then you can't swallow something else one at a time.
Yeah, but I think that's the interesting thing is that as really good name 69 suggests, basically you have 1 chance to grapple everyone, and then all you can do after that is grapple 1 enemy at a time with the swallow.
Right.
But the swallow is stronger and shuts down someone.
Yeah.
So the question is, who do you want to shut down, and do you want to try and grab everyone at once, or do you want to wait for them to bunch up first? Do you want to use it early to try and grab someone, or do you want to... So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we set that aside for now? And also, in fairness, this ability already does a lot.
Yeah.
So getting rid of 1 power is maybe for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we could also lose the lightning breath and just have it so that you can spend 1 sorcery point to swallow 1 enemy.
Yeah.
The lightning breath
having it be like a big explosive thing.
You summon a thing around you
with a slide activity.
It grapples a bunch of dudes, then you can swallow dudes. The breath weapon is cool. And makes you lose the summon, and then you can't do it again until you finish your short rest. Although I don't know how valuable that really is, to be honest.
I just had a thought for our first level ability. Maybe the Behir Ancestry lets you sidestep immunities, and they become resistances to lightning, and lightning resistances are removed entirely.
We could do that,
because I know that a lot of things are either resistant or immune to... if you're fighting a blue dragon, you're still using lightning against him, and he is a lightning boy.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's just it just came to me there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it could be that you can mitigate immunity and resistances.
Yeah.
Could also be that you have more flexibility in the damage. Maybe you can also deal thunder damage, but again, we're kind of stepping into the thunder, the storm toes again if we do that. So it's kind of a weird one.
Okay.
I think you're probably right. Probably the sensible thing to do is to
because we have a lot of lightning stuff that's really cool, but we don't have much that's anti-dragon.
Yeah, I get
which
you,
is what they're all about.
Oh, right. Yes, that's a very good point as well. That's an interesting point. I wonder if we could have some kind of feature that says that I mean,
even the level 14 feature is really good against not dragons.
Yeah. That's a very good point. We haven't got really a Dragon Slayer theme in there, or Dragon's Bane theme, but that's a very good idea. What does chat think about the lightning breath? Is it a yes or is it a no? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Curious what other people think of it.
Otherwise, if there's a time limit on it, you could just always throw it out at the last turn that you have it up, if it lasts that long.
Yeah.
Or if you've already finished it, you just blast a bunch of lightning out when you're just this is a big finale. I think the lightning breath is. I think it's effective as like. I think it should be used within the first couple rounds, essentially. Like if you're shutting down this like powerful feature, giving it a time limit feels chunky. It feels awkward to me.
Okay.
So I think keeping it there is fine. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want to have some different things that this thing can do.
Yeah.
Like we have maybe like a lightning claw. Mike Delime says it thinks it fit well. If you feel like a Behir guy, you should get some sort of lightning breath. Yeah.
Fair, yeah.
When you
swallow an enemy in lightning, it also degrades immunity and resistances. That's kind of cool.
Okay. Maybe like if you're versus a dragon, it could just be like a bite, because you can't really swallow a dragon with a Behir. That's not the point.
But although you could, well, it is a metaphorical swallow.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea. Maybe you can like siphon off the immunity or resist. Maybe you can even benefit as you steal it from them. Maybe as long as you have swallowed an enemy with lightning resistance or immunity, you gain lightning immunity.
Ooh.
That could be kind of cool.
Yeah. Maybe it just removes some resistances or immunities. Like it doesn't matter quite what it is. Like it is a lightning based thing, but if it's biting something, it removes its immunities and reduces them to resistances or something, just so that you're not like pointing straight at lightning specifically.
Well, it makes sense to kind of point at lightning because all your other features really care about lightning or thunder.
Yeah. But if we were trying to do the dragon thing, like if you bite a red dragon, then you can remove its immunity to fire.
We could make that two distinct things.
Okay.
We could say that normally it removes lightning immunity, degrading it to resistance, or turns light or ignores lightning resistance. But if you bite a creature with the dragon type, instead you always mitigate their immunity.
Yeah.
Which could be interesting and would play with the theme of being kind of anti-dragon.
Anti-dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
Energy being spent.
Let's go ahead and say that as a bonus action you can. Let's go ahead and just drop the sorcery points action because I think we're happy saying it doesn't cost any sorcery points to summon. You can summon the spirit of your Behir ancestors, change lightning fury.
For Uno Minuto.
For the next minute. Okay. Each creature of your choice within feet must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, I think is probably what you're supposed to say. On a failed save, they suffer 2d10 lightning damage and they are grappled by lightning. Otherwise, they take half as much lightning damage.
Is the lightning breath a line? Because the Behir's is. I'd assume so, yeah.
I would also assume so.
Yeah. It's more targeted that way and kind of loses the potential appeal of like an area of effect thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is like it makes it less overpowered. Like I was thinking of it as like a flame breath, like a wah.
Yeah. Otherwise, they take half as much lightning damage. Creatures grappled by the lightning suffer an additional 2d10 lightning damage at the start of each of their turns. Grappled creatures contest your spell save DC. Again, that needs to be expanded to properly say what the rules of the game are, but we all know what we're talking about. Okay, so swallow one enemy as an action. So swallowing. What's the resist? How do you resist getting swallowed? How do you not get out?
Behir makes one bite attack against a meter or smaller target that is grappling. If the attack hits, the target is also swallowed and the grapple ends. Right.
So that's interesting because implicit in the good with the initial AoE damage is replaced by a strip lightning resistance effect. You could, whenever you. So in other words, you don't take any damage, but you are no longer resistant to lightning. Okay, that could be interesting. So then the real question is does that affect everyone, or does it only affect them if they fail the saving throw? Because that's a weird one, because then what happens is they have to fail this saving throw so that you can take away their immunity to lightning damage, and if they pass it, you have no way of making them take lightning damage. And suddenly your entire feature is kind of useless.
It's kind of pointless.
In fairness, there's nothing wrong with just having a feature that deals lightning damage and it not always being relevant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spells you will be a full caster. You will still have a lot of magical abilities.
There is the feature that allows you to bypass stuff, which is what I'm kind of basing my idea on. Like there's the feature of like elemental affinity or something, where your specific element or damage type does work around immunities and stuff.
Yeah.
Fun times.
So there's a lot of ways we can create the opportunity to. So then the other thing that's interesting, sorry, before we talk about that is, so the Behir swallows enemies it grabs.
Yes.
We can only grab people by activating our stance, which we can only activate once per short rest. So are we allowed to swallow enemies we haven't grabbed yet?
I think I think you should be only able to swallow enemies that you haven't grappled.
That you haven't grappled?
Yeah.
So you can grapple or swallow, you can't?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the opposite of the Behir.
Is that true?
Well, the Behir says to swallow someone, it bites them and then it swallows them if they're grappled.
But constrict is different. Is a different ability.
Yeah, it is. But constrict grapples and sets them up for the bite. If you see what I mean. So okay. The question really is: do we want the feature to have the same 1-2 punch, or do we want the feature to have a distinct ability, or what do we think?
I think it's reasonable to have it be similar. Like nothing is the exact same that we have, bar some of the damage similarities.
Sure.
But I'm fine with leaving it that way. I was just trying to shake the boat and see if we could come up with something more interesting, or something interesting. Yeah. I think we've had fun with this.
Yeah, okay.
We can. We've got a little bogged down with the kind of details.
Yeah, there's a lot of details. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. And then see if we can come back refreshed.
All right, we'll be back in Kupla Nomade.
Oh, nice shift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here comes our little be right back sign. There's us. And cue the music. Again, coming back in, not too quickly. Here goes the music, and here comes our faces. Here we are. This Be Right Back screen is so shut up and sit down.
Thank you.
That's an excellent compliment.
It is, absolutely. Okay, so the level 14 feature. We have such sights to show you. Okay, so what we're going to do, the swallow feature. Swallow 1, we're just going to add this. I'm not going to do the full wording, but we're going to say swallow 1 grappled enemy. So you do need to have the enemy grappled, and we're going to say that as long as your spirit is summoned from the Unveil. As long as your spirit is summoned. Sorry, you were drinking. I should have done that. As long as your spirit is summoned at the start of each of your turns. You can force one creature to make a dexterity saving throw.
Within range?
Force one creature. Oh, yeah, sorry, apologies. Within 10 feet.
One creature. Someone in a distant city.
Just a creature. He's you may force one creature. Oh, whoops. To within 10 feet. That's a mistake. One creature within 10 feet to make a dexterity saving throw. And then we're doing the exact same thing. So it's we can actually copy and paste and just say the exact same thing here. Okay, so in other words, the feature grapples everyone around you when you activate it. At the start of each of your turns, it grapples one creature of your choice.
For free.
So that's what it does as long as you have it up. And then additionally, you can spend sorcery points to swallow grappled enemies that have already been eaten.
Yeah.
Or have already been grabbed, not eaten. You have to eat them to eat them.
You have to grab them to eat them.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Do grappled enemies lose lightning resistance or lightning immunity? And also, is that instead of the damage or is that in addition to the damage?
I think that losing the immunity while grappled makes sense, so that they take the full brunt of the 2d10 lightning damage. Because like 2d10 isn't that huge at 14th level.
Okay.
Right? So
creatures.
I think that makes
so
sense.
We're going to say creatures grappled by the lightning.
The start of each of their turns.
We'll just say creatures grappled by the lightning do not benefit from lightning
immunity.
Resistance or immunity. Resistance or immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures grappled by the lightning do not benefit from flying as long as they are grappled.
Suffer an additional.
And suffer.
Yeah.
An additional 2d10 lightning damage at the start of each of their turns. Grapple creatures contest your spell save DC.
Yeah. Lovely. What should we call this?
Oh god. I forgot we have to do that. If you move, does your summon follow you? If so, then what happens to grapple creatures? That's a great question.
You probably do have to remain stationary.
The swallow probably has a range.
Yeah.
Maybe the grapple doesn't.
Well, the swallow has a range of whatever you are grappling.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So the grapple could just be...
maybe the summon is stationary. You're allowed to move.
But wait, hang on, sorry. If you move, does your summon follow you? If so, then what happens to grapple creatures? I thought if a creature was grappled by you and you moved, it moved.
But you move at half speed.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess.
But
maybe the grappled creatures remain stationary and you are able to move around. Like the summon remains in place.
So the summon has a position then.
Yeah.
Instead of being around you.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if you leave the area of effect, or like the area of effect plus like 5 foot or something. As long as you are in contact with it, it stays up.
Contact with what?
With the area of effect. Like you can be like within a square of the outside, essentially.
Okay, so then the spell itself occupies an area. So you have to mention that.
Okay.
You have to say that when you cast the spell, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that if you just say that creatures are grappled... I guess it says creatures are grappled by the lightning rather than grappled by you.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point. I'd say you can remain within the initial 10 feet range if you leave the grapple's end, and so does the summon.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
what
in
I'm
other
saying.
words, the summon is based on a point.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because I would say...
It's like grease.
Oh.
You can place it down, and then it stays there.
Grease is an awful spell. So the thing I would say is that...
Since you can use your shuffle
for free against grappled creatures. Okay, but the argument I would make is that then we have a problem where our big summon contradicts our level 6 feature, because our level 6 feature is all about mobility with our spells.
Right.
And now we're saying, no, actually, I can't leave this 10-foot square. So what's the point? You have to choose between either riding the lightning or whatever level 14 feature is called. So I think what makes more sense is that the summon follows you.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
You're moving.
So, I think it follows you.
Mm-hmm.
The real question is then what happens to the creatures that are grappled. I mean, maybe if you move at all, they're just not grappled. Maybe it's just that straightforward. And and the compensation for that is that you get to grapple for free at the start of your turn.
Yeah.
And you can swallow grappled enemies.
Yeah.
And also you're getting to do loads of damage and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's quite a bit of damage. Like if you have quite a few enemies around you, you're getting upwards 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 damage dice.
Good night and God bless.
Good night and God bless.
Good night and God bless.
Good night to you.
God, what time is it over there? It's half 10, is it?
Half 10.
Because it's 5:30 here.
Gosh, what have we been doing to our poor audience? Yeah, it's 10:30.
Jesus, that's good.
Andy Mac. Good night.
Good night and God bless. So there's a feature. There's another. So because the mystic is like the Jean Grey kind of telepath.
Mm-hmm.
One of their features is that you can grapple people at range, because the idea you grab them with your mind.
Okay.
And so it just says, you grab them. They have to be within 60 feet of you.
60 feet.
And then it says they are grappled by you until your concentration ends or until the target leaves your reach, which is 60 feet for this grapple.
Ah.
So we could say they are grappled until
they move outside of 30 feet of you.
Or just 10 feet, because it's only a 10-foot area.
Oh, yeah.
And they,
Mm-hmm.
I think if we just sort of note down, grapple creatures are grappled as long as the Behir spirit is summoned. Here it is summoned, or
the creatures are within 10 feet.
Creatures are within 10 feet of the summoner. 10 feet of you.
Of you.
You. Right, okay, so this ability is like, I mean, Jesus, look at this.
It's dense.
Look at this. Like, it actually doesn't fit on the page. Like, this is all one ability.
One ability. Oh boy.
Okay, so I think what we're going to say is we've nailed down all the basic stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the level 18 feature, because otherwise we'll be stuck here all day.
What are we going to do for the level 18 feature?
No clue.
£5.
You get 7 gems.
7 gems. How do they compare? How are we going to compare them to the other ones? So the Draconic Bloodline gets their Draconic Presence, which is like a fear thing, out to 60 feet for 1 minute.
Okay.
The Wild Magic Boys get Spell Bombardment.
Bombardment.
When you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible on any of the dice. So that's just doubling down on your damage.
Okay.
You can use the feature once per turn. Ooh, wow.
Okay.
That's it.
And
for
what
the
is
PHB.
it? What is it? Wait, what is it? You roll max damage?
Basically just max damage.
Oh, okay. Whenever you roll damage for a spell and roll, choose one of those dice and roll it again.
What?
When you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible on any of the dice, choose one of those dice, roll it again, and add that roll to damage.
Oh, so if you roll a max damage, then you can add an extra.
So if you roll a d6 spell and you get a 6 on one of the dice, you can roll that dice again.
And add that extra damage.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's once per turn.
Add an extra dice.
No. Obviously not.
Don't be ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense.
I apologize to everyone on the stream. Oh, we've done something. Oh, we've just moved over to the 18 feature.
Because we're level 18 feature now.
Cool.
Okay, so, and then the Divine Soul just gets to regain a bunch of hit points, which is cool, I guess, for them.
Healy boys.
The Shadow Sorcerer gets to spend 6 sorcery points, which is quite a few, to magically transform into a shadow form, and then you're basically a ghost, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then so this is interesting. The Storm Soul gets immunity to lightning and thunder damage, a magical flying speed, and they can give their flying speed to other people by reducing their own flying speed.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
We become immune to lightning. That's it.
Become immune to lightning. You can talk to Behirs.
Woo!
You get 10 points.
You can speak. You come up with a secret language with the Behirs that only they and you know, and then you can become best friends forever. The end.
So what we probably want to do is, so we already have a big cool summon. So I think we can certainly say that immunity to lightning damage is a good start.
Yeah. Immunity, yo.
Immunity to lightning damage is a great start. I feel like maybe this is where we should kind of go big. I hate dragons.
Okay.
I don't know what you think about that.
Double damage to Dorgans. Because you're truly becoming a Behir, feeling their hatred for dragons. And you feel slighted by the Behirs being kicked out of dragon school. You become vulnerable to lightting damage, but you get a 15 discount on library books.
Well,
put it in.
Sure, yeah. But you can visit the library and learn a lot about your local community. And that's the real gift. Okay, so immunity to lightning damage is a good starting point.
What's with the Behirs? Foes of dragons, cavern predators.
Maybe you can just breathe lightning.
Maybe you suddenly have true sight. I'm just throwing out
I can tell.
dumb ideas at this point. What did you say?
I said maybe you can breathe lightning.
Breathe lightning. You get a lightning breath?
Yeah, you get lightning breath.
Okay, with a recharge?
Maybe not with a recharge. Maybe per short rest.
Okay. Like its lightning breath is only 20 feet long. So
okay.
That's pretty short as is.
So it's a short range lightning bolt
with pretty high damage.
Okay, yeah. So that kind of fits what we're doing already.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the Behir Soul Sorcerer is sort of like, I can run away really good with my first feature. I can move around loads with my second feature. My third feature lets me lock down all my enemies. And then if my last feature is like, I get a short range damage burst. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And maybe if we get something else to do with that, maybe the lightning breath does what we talked about before. You can knock people around with it.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. Knock people around with it.
Thanks, man.
I'm losing it.
I'm losing it, SpongeBob. Okay, so immunity to lightning damage. Why don't we say you can spend 3 sorcery points to do the lightning breath?
To do a lightning breath.
Yeah. Okay, let's say...
Because at level 18, that is only 1/6 of what you're doing.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't want it to be too expensive. 3 sorcery points to use the... I'm just going to say use the Behir's lightning breath because we can copy its exact stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Behir's lightning... breath.
Lightning breathe. Flavorfully, what?
I did spell
boy. The dragons. Their kind of thing is their individual abilities within their their element, essentially. So if we were to kind of come up with something to maybe shut down some elemental abilities, like you kind of transcend Behirs, because once you're at like level 18, 19, 20, you're getting to like world saving kind of almost god tier stuff.
Okay.
So you have like their intelligence is -2. Like they have a 7 intelligence, which means maybe they're not using their abilities to their full potential. So you kind of are able to... No, because they are a natural thing. It's not like they were put onto the earth to stop dragons.
Maybe meta magic on lightning or thunder spells that use 1 less point. That's an interesting idea. You could word it like... yeah, that could be cool if you were like, you got some free or cheap meta magic.
Yeah.
But cheapening meta magic is weird because you don't know what meta magic your player has taken effectively.
Yeah, and they're relatively cheap as they are.
Except for
most of them only
Twin
cost
Cast.
1.
Is Twin Cast the one that's expensive? Twin spell. Sorry.
Twin spell. Target 1 creature doesn't lose its health. You can spend a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the expensive one, basically.
Yeah. Subtle is 1. Quickened is 2. Heightened is 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't tend to get much higher. Yeah, it doesn't go higher than 3, bar the twin spell, which is reliant on whatever spell. So if you're twinning something, because if you're going to like the meta magic costs like 1 less point, then you have some free meta magic.
Yeah, unless you say minimum of 1, and then it's like, well, then it's not doing something with all the meta magic options.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
Maybe the Behir's lightning breath does something else to dragons or creatures that resist lightning. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So in other words, it's sort of, I'm thinking maybe almost like a hunter's mark style feature.
Ooh.
So you use it on them, and then they are like marked, and they take more damage.
She's a tricky one.
Yes.
I mean, I think we may just be overthinking it a little bit because the 18th level stuff here is
pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you're right. Tell you what, let's go immunity lightning breath.
Lightning.
3 sorcery points to use the Behir's lightning breath. If used on a creature with immunity / resistance. If used on a creature with immunity or resistance, I mean, geez, it could literally just cast Hunter's Mark on them, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or it could be they suffer additional force damage equal to
So you're suffering force damage. Like if you use lightning on one of them, it's not lightning damage, it's force damage.
Modifier. Yeah, so if you use on a creature with immunity resistance, they suffer additional force damage equal to your charisma modifier against each spell for the next minute. That doesn't feel great. It's kind of weird. Kind of noodly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm basically thinking. I'm thinking like it effectively like does sort of almost like a mark of enmity that like makes so, and like the benefit is that like almost everything will have immunities and resistances, so you're kind of almost making up for that by dealing more guaranteed damage. And it could have an interesting thing where like maybe it only works on one enemy at a time.
I think like what I saw as what you were writing there before you kind of finished it off was they suffer force damage. Like if something is immune to lightning, it is converted into force damage, so that they still take the full brunt of the damage to your lightning attacks.
Okay.
So it is kind of working. Excuse me. It's working around the lightning thing, but like you are basically becoming a lightning god.
But that's the thing, because the other feature turns off resistances and immunities.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that we're playing with other features as well.
Immunities. Just lots of damage is kind of nice.
It's just nice.
It's just nice.
It's just nice.
Just add all of your modifiers for all of your stats to your lightning damage.
Cool. Yeah, I'll put that down.
Put that in the maybe pile.
Put that in the maybe. That's a firm maybe, I think. Yeah. Immunity to lightning damage. 3 sorcery points to use the Behir's lightning breath. I feel like I kind of like the lightning breath because it's like a relatively cheap high damage spell you can kind of blast people with, which is cool.
Yes.
But I just feel like, you should be able to do something else. If you're fighting someone who's immune to lightning, you're just kind of like, oh no.
Yeah. Remove immunity?
Maybe, but we already do that. But maybe we do it again.
Double down on this. It is a tricky one.
It is a tricky one.
Even chat has gone completely silent,
which is fair. It's just a difficult one to navigate.
Yeah.
I mean, it might just be the case that we just say like nothing about creatures who have immunity and resistance. We just let them be immune and resist.
Okay, and then just add that to the level 18 feature, like remove it from 14 and add it to 18.
Well, no, maybe we just let 14 be the thing. Maybe you can convert all your spells into lightning damage, and you ignore resistance and immunity. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So like you use fireball and it's lightning.
It's lightning ball.
Lightning ball.
Yeah. Okay, and you ignore resistance and immunity. See, yeah, I don't know. Ignoring resistance and immunity is always a weird mechanic to me. Because the whole reason it exists
removes the flavor of the monster you're fighting. Well, but that is also kind of what you're trying to do.
But not even that. Like, as in, the only reason the feature exists is to stop that damage type being effective. So if all you're doing is stopping them from stopping you, it's like, we could have just done nothing. We could have stayed home. And like, I almost feel like there's more. I feel like I want there to be more interesting ways around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe the correct thing to do is just literally say you can ignore resistances and immunities.
Probably. I think that's kind of just what we're sitting on essentially, because there's only limited amount of mechanics in D&D,
especially in 5th edition.
Yeah, that we can toy with. Immunities. Yeah. You can like blind them with lightning. I don't know.
That's fair.
We didn't have anything for their perception or stealth.
No, we didn't.
In the early levels.
Maybe it is. So maybe we say 3. Okay, so if a creature resists your lightning damage, they suffer force damage equal to your charisma modifier and lose their immunity or resistance to lightning for the next minute.
Sure.
So in other words, maybe dragons have disadvantage on saves versus your spells. That is cool.
That's nice.
That's cool. I like that too. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Should it be on top of all that other stuff?
Yeah, it could be. I think we need to like consolidate it. I was thinking doubling down on the advantage on saves versus your spells.
Disadvantage
on
spells. So maybe it's like a favored enemy style system in addition to the so if a creature resists your lightning damage, they suffer force damage equal to your charisma modifier and lose their immunity or resistance to lightning for the next minute. I'll change that to ignores or resists. Ignores or resists. Ignores. Try my best. So if a creature ignores or resists your lightning damage, they suffer force damage equal to your charisma modifier and lose their immunity to or resistance to lightning for the next minute. And then creatures with the damage, which the dragon type have disadvantage on saving throws against your spells.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
I think it is too. I think it could be refined slightly, but I like it. I sort of like the mix of abilities. It feels like you're this interesting like short range blaster mage, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, with a little bit of extra mobility.
A lot of mobility options. You've got like this interesting like kind of like late game summon ability that sort of mixes it up. Yeah, cool.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm happy enough. Also sick of it.
Wow. Okay, there it is.
I would almost certainly play this because I love lightning casters, and there's not enough lightning stuff in D&D, in my opinion.
I know that's something you feel strongly about.
I do quite.
I do know that about.
Which is why I was very glad we were going to go with the Behir boy.
Cool.
Yeah. So there you are.
There's himself.
There's your man. Should we name them? Level 14 feature.
Oh god, we forgot.
Behir summon, level 18, I am become Behir.
Okay, so it's going to be
what is the level 18 feature called? Yeah, we're getting there.
So we're going to say this is I'm going to call this one Ancestors Give Me Strength.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm going to... Okay, so...
It's a nicely themed build. I like how you've built it around a specific monster. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
Got tricky at the end there, we'll admit, because you basically get to a higher level than the monster ever does, which is sort of a weird problem.
Yeah, you like transcend the monster. Storm Center.
Is there any more cool...
Storm Center. That's a good... Ancestorm?
No. Ancestorm Give Me Strength. We are going to spell it this way, though, because I'm European. So.
Yes.
But Tim can fix it when I leave. So
Ancestor said it's my turn with the strength.
Yes. Yes, best joke. Okay. And then we're going to call this...
Ancient Hatred is pretty nice. It rolls off the tongue quite nicely as well. Dragon Slayer, I feel like would be better for like a more direct dragon slaying class. Yeah. I feel like Dragon Slayer would almost be a subclass name, to be honest. Yeah.
But it isn't. It is good.
Behir's Ire.
Sure.
You can just put in a slash as opposed to erasing what you came up with. Alt names. Behir's Ire.
Behir's Ire. Ire of the Storm is super good.
Caught in the ire of the storm.
That's really damn good.
I feel like we're like leaning into Storm away from Behir.
That's fair.
Yeah. Or more Storm.
Ancient Hatred sounds like a PS2 game now. That's so accurate.
Ancient hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And with the name of the last ability still undecided, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm pretty proud of our work. We slowed down towards the end there, but I think it's just, as Daniel said, it's like we have basically stepped beyond our source material.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this channel. This is my channel, my personal channel, where I play Rocksmith pretty frequently. Behir, Behir. But everywhere.
They're but everywhere.
But everywhere. This is my channel where I play Rocksmith, but Daniel and I are from Creature Club Podcast, which is available just all over. This is a really cool bloodline. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of proud of it.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Look at us go. We're really we're good, two good boys.
That's a different podcast.
My brother and me.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so Creature Club Podcast is available on Spotify via the ridiculous link we actually made down below.
It's a really big RSS button. We didn't mean for it to be so big, but it's very funny. So
it just happened.
We kept it.
We loved it.
Yeah.
So we're available all over the place on pretty much all podcasting. Everywhere.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. All your podcast outlets. We're on Stitcher. We're on Spotify. We're on all of them. iTunes? We are on iTunes.
Apple
I'm pretty
Podcasts.
Sure. Apple Podcasts. Yeah. You can contact us via a contact form on our website, which I should have put. I can post it in a chat if anybody wants to go and have a look at it right now and tell us how great you think we are.
We will try to trim this down into a listenable episode.
Yes, certainly.
To the best of our abilities. But we will for sure be releasing this Behir Soul as a PDF on the website. We'll also tidy it up and add a bit of lore, talking about what it means.
What does it mean? And this is basically an episode of us doing homebrew.
Yeah.
Which is something that we call on you guys to do. To make your own homebrew and send it to us at our email address, which is creatureclubpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Which is a grand old spot. We put on a show every once in a while of basically dedicated to the homebrew of our listeners, which we have 2 out, and we have 2 PDFs available on
DM's Guild.
And we're very, very proud of our work on that, and it's enormous fun to do that kind of stuff, and we really appreciate all of the
submissions.
Yeah, the submissions and all of the work that you guys put in, so that we can be a little bit of a platform, and as however big we get is as big as you guys are going to be. And so tell your friends, you know. Yes, you will see my bullywug soul soon.
Hear the slapping of wet feet on cobbles.
Oh no. Block, 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 block.
It's himself.
Fucking yes. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Human Soul Sorcerer.
Not real.
My ancient human ancestor. All right. Well, there you go. Have a good time. How do we usually end? There it is.
There it is. And we're out, ladies.
Stay cool. That's just fantasy.
That's just fantasy. Humans ain't
real life. It's not real life. Fairly well.
See you, boys.
Bye.